This part, you ain't gotta say a word. Just walk that, let's get burned. It will roll up 100 fucking nuts. All up in my mouth, now all up in yo. This nigga got pounds of it, all up in his truck. Now we both look Asian. He waving and I'm drunk. I got dank shit in my cup. You know what I'ma do to you? I could give reviews to you. Blow, we X and we sipping on that juice. That's just what she choose to do. Where do I begin? Start over again. Hey, Century. There are times when I look above and beyond. There are times when I feel your love around me, baby. I'll never forget my baby. When I feel that I don't belong, draw my strength from the words when you said, hey, it's about you, baby. Look deeper inside you, baby. I know you are there, smiling back at me, dancing in moonlight. I know you are free, 'cause I can see your star shining down on me. I know you are there, smiling back at me, dancing in moonlight. I know you are free, 'cause I can see your star shining down on me.
at 5 in the morning. I wake up to fight for my earnings. Fear in my mind is a warning. Pray to the one you're relying. I've been wandering all day. I tried to be fine, but I can't be. The noise in my mind wouldn't leave me. I tried to get by, but I'm burning. I'm behind, my mind it runs. All these thoughts have troubled me. Fighting to give up my pain. Fighting to be on my lane. My mind running to the other side. When it's time to leave my life, then it tries to pick me up. Tell you what I need. Right, yeah, I really need time now. I need to free mind now. I really need mine now. I need to free my mind now. I really need time now. I need to free mind now. I really need mine now, yeah. This is the peace that you cannot buy. Send me a love that you cannot mix. One is the joy that you cannot waste, and the other one price that you cannot fix. This is the peace that you cannot buy. Finding a way where you cannot see. Man with this system, you cannot pray. I need to find relief. But behind my mind it runs. All these thoughts have troubled me. Fighting to give up my pain. Fighting to be on my lane. My mind running to the other side. When it's time to leave my life, then it tries to take me out. Tell you what I need. I really need mine now. I need to free mine now. I really need time now. I need to free my mind now. I really need time now. I need to free mine now. I really need time now. Oh, yeah. Just let me free, freer than the open mind, farther than the eyes can handle, freer than the ocean now. Yeah, yeah. So set me free. Now I need to find relief. Set me to the open sky. Now I need to free my mind. Yeah.
Drop top boy, rollie on my wrist, diamonds up and down my chain. Cardi B straight stunning, can't tell me that the boss up and I changed again. It's my big bronze boogie, got all them girls shook. My big fat ass got all them boys cooked. From dollar bills, now we popping rubber bands. Bruno sang to me while I do my money dance like, yeah. Flexing on the gram like, yeah. Hit the little John, okay. Oh yeah, we dripping and finesse again.
Ooh, don't we look good together? There's a reason why they watch all night. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Is it Taco Tuesday? Mm. Come on in, people. Everybody's welcome. This is a day that the Lord has made, honey. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Let's go. So, how y'all doing? Good morning, Miss Carla. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Hey, Miss Lynn. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Already. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to my supporters, my mods, my trolls. I love all of y'all. Y'all ready to get into it? We got some things to talk about today. Yeah, I put one in the chat if y'all can hear me. Just want to make sure. Just want to make sure y'all can hear me loud and clear. Mods, y'all know the routine, honey. You know the routine. Thank you, Miss Carlos. Hey, Natasha. Thank you, boo. Thank you. Come on, Miss Lynn. Listen, mods, y'all know the routine. All comments are welcome as long as they're not disrespectful, have the trigger words in them. We let everybody have a voice or whatever. Hey, keep it cute. Good morning. Good morning, beautiful. Yeah, so it's pretty much the trolls. They come to do a job. They come to do their job. They add to the algorithm. They add to my numbers. They add, honey. We take lemons and make lemonade over here. So it is what it is. Y'all know the deal. Y'all know what it is. Make sure for those that can, make sure you put in a post. What am I trying to say? Make sure you let it be known, which I've seen y'all doing it, and I appreciate it. Be respectful. Don't use certain words, and you're good, right? But let the people speak. Let the people speak. So we're gonna get into it because we got a lot to talk about. Okay, we do. Make sure y'all are double tapping. Hey, Mama T. Good morning, boo. Make sure y'all are double tapping the screen, please, and thank you. Um, Also, feel free to support the channel. The Cash App is going across the screen. It's also pinned at the bottom. Okay, so support the channel. Okay, so listen, y'all. Good news, baby. Carmelo Anthony, his parents, Honey Locks. Hey, Honey Locks. Listen, I'm gonna let it go. I don't understand why people come here. I guess because I talk about different things, and I'm covering different cases, and so people get confused, even though they may read the title and they're a little delayed, they're a little slow, a little undereducated or whatever, and they come in and speaking about something that's not the topic today. That's not the topic today. We're not talking about that today. So can you please put your helmet on? Put your helmet on and think about it. Go back and read as much as you can the title and know what we're talking about today. All right. Honey, like I say, great news, playing chess and not checking. Absolutely. Hey, Sonya. Why people were saying, they collected all this money and they use it to buy houses and cars and vacations. It seemed like they taking that money and putting it to good use, honey. Either that or this team of lawyers that this family has acquired is saying this some bullshit and we here to make it right. Either way, I honestly don't care how it came about. I'm just praising God that it came about. You feel me? Okay. So let's get into it. I have a playlist, as I always do, that we're going to get into. I think the first clips or a couple of clips announcing what's going on here today. They pro bono. See, that's even better, McCarl. Ain't God good, girl? Ain't he good? Baby, the truth always wins. It always come out on top. No matter how long it takes, no matter what has to be done, it always comes out on top. That is a blessing. You hear me? Now, I have a couple of clips that's going to lead into what we're going to be talking about today. Y'all read the title. Title is very clear. Like, it's very concise. My titles are not clickbait. My titles are not hard to understand. When you read the title of the live stream, you know what's going on, okay? So let's get into it. You know what I'm saying? Because this is probably the first time in a minute that I've enjoyed doing a live on this, because this case is so heartbreaking. It's so, it's just too much. Okay. Thank you, Honey Locks. Thank you, girl. They supporting by typing in my chat. They supporting by adding to my views. They are supporting by keeping me in the algorithm. Honey Locks. And they don't even realize it. And it's okay. It's great. It is great, honey. All right. Now, and let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk Funberry, Cuba Q, it is so good to see you, sweetheart. So good to see you in the chat. Whether you keep typing or not, I know you here. And I appreciate that. So let's get into this first clip, y'all.
A judge has released video evidence in a teen athlete murder case. Carmelo Anthony was convicted and sentenced to 35 years for the fatal stabbing of another teen, Austin Metcalf, during a Texas high school track meet last year. A judge released images of the murder weapon, video of the stabbing and aftermath, along with emotional 911 calls from the victim's brother. In one video, you actually hear Anthony admit.
You see how the news gets it wrong, no matter how big or small the platform is. They can, keep it cute. They can absolutely get it wrong. What the 911 call was not his brother. See, this is what really irritates my spirit. And this is why a lot of fake news is spread and why all these narratives are going around. The 911 call was not his brother, ma'am. And this is ABC News. Can you imagine mainstream media not getting it right? But I catch mainstream media not getting it right a whole lot of times. And I think it's done on purpose, but we ain't going to talk about that. But let's listen. Just like, the whole lie that the daddy got on and told the day this happened, that Austin passed away in Hunter's arms lie. By the way, rest in peace to Austin. I stand firmly on my platform that Austin did not deserve to die. With that being said, I also stand firm that Carmelo Anthony did not intend to unalive him. Okay? That's my stance. That's what I feel, and I stand on it. Now, before I get into anything, because it just hit my brain, disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. I can't read that. I don't even know where I'm trying. Let me go to my device. Y'all, things are so small on StreamYard. I be punking myself out like I can really see that, and I can't. So let me go to my device and let me read my disclaimer. I can really see that, and I can't. All right. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. And always remember, this content is for entertainment purposes only. Everything is alleged. Okay? Now, with that being said, let's get into it. All right. Shout out to my moderators. Thank y'all so much for working so hard. I appreciate it. And shout out to my supporters. I love y'all.
For the fatal stabbing of another teen, Austin Metcalf, during a Texas high school track meet last year. A judge released images of the murder weapon, video of the stabbing and aftermath, along with emotional 911 calls from the victim's brother. In one video, you actually hear Anthony admitting to that stabbing.
It's the alleged suspect. I'm not alleged.
Anthony's attorneys claim he stabbed Metcalf in self-defense. They have filed a notice to appeal his conviction. ABC News legal analyst Brian Buckmeyer joins me now to talk about this. Brian, great to see you. Why was this evidence revealed now?
Stephanie, thanks for having me. So if you recall, throughout this trial, we saw very little in the means of evidence in this case. It's not like many of the high-profile cases where we had cameras inside the court and we could live stream or watch it day by day. And this is a case that garnered a lot of attention, both within the community as well as the nation as a whole. And so I think for the effort of transparency, for the purpose of having an open and public court, as the Constitution suggests that it should have, the interpretation that the judge went with here is not to have cameras in court during the trial, but to release the evidence afterwards so people can get a greater understanding of what happened in this case, what happened in the verdict, and of course in the sentencing, even if they weren't sitting in the court themselves.
So could this evidence impact the appeal?
Yeah, so I think this information, and probably information that was not used, is definitely going to affect the appeal. You're going to hear a lot of the arguments coming forward with this defense, some of the boilerplate, kind of typical appellate arguments that the judge made an error in admitting some evidence or not admitting other pieces of evidence, that the prosecution made errors in the way that they handled the case. And even if Anthony decides to get a new attorney for the appeal, you might even hear ineffective assistance of counsel claims against the defense attorney themselves. The evidence that we're seeing is going to be scrutinized and argued throughout the appellate process to see if mistakes were made and if a different verdict or different sentence should have been rendered.
Yeah, this case has certainly garnered a lot of attention. Brian, thank you very much for joining us.
There are new developments in the case of Carmelo Anthony.
All right, clip number 2. This speaks about the his new legal team, y'all.
Sentenced to 35 years behind bars for the murder of Austin Metcalf.
Yes, tonight a high-profile legal team announced they will be representing Anthony. NBC5's Allie Spilliards is live with the latest on this. Now, Allie, what does this mean for the next phase of this case?
Well, Brian and Brittany, this comes less than 2 weeks after Carmelo Anthony filed a pauper oath, basically a request to the court for an attorney saying he could no longer afford one. That came the same day that he filed a motion saying he intends to appeal his conviction. This team of 6 prominent Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin-based lawyers say they're coming together to represent Anthony pro bono. The team's headed by former Dallas County prosecutor.
Shout out to you all. Shout out to the team, baby. Who told me that? Because, see, I hadn't heard that. Y'all know I don't listen to these clips until I come live. Who the one told me that they were pro bono? Shout out to y'all. See, you just can't. You just can't. Shout out to the team. Y'all listen.
Intends to appeal his conviction. This team of 6 prominent Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin-based lawyers say they're coming together to represent Anthony pro bono. The team's headed by former Dallas County prosecutor Russell Wilson. It also includes Michael Ware, the director of the Innocence Project of Texas, and president of the Texas NAACP, Gary Bledsoe. Despite numerous requests, the team told us they are holding off on interviews for now, but they did release a statement saying...
Thank you, Miss Carla. Thank you for letting me know that. Now, the fact that she said they're holding off on interviews right now, I'm going to tell you something. See, when shit happens and you pay attention to what's happening and you see how people move, you know when they're genuine. This team, first let's talk about it. This team, first of all, is coming together pro bono. Pro bono, I mean, this ain't just 1 or 2 lawyers. This is like 6 or 7. I ain't counted them. They on my thumbnail. Go count them. But they're coming together, right? Not just black, not just white. Pay attention. And they're doing the pro bono. And she just said that this team, unlike a Dominique Alexander or anybody else who didn't have this young man's best interest at heart, said they ain't doing no damn interviews. They ain't talking. They're going to do all they talking in the courtroom. All right, let's listen.
Innocence Project of Texas and president of the Texas NAACP, Gary Bledsoe. Despite numerous requests, the team told us they are holding off on interviews for now, but they did release a statement saying, in part, we recognize the profound loss suffered by one young man's family and the uncertainty facing another. Our responsibility is to determine whether a legal error occurred and to ensure that every issue supported by the record is fully and vigorously presented on appeal.
Come on.
A couple of weeks ago, one of the attorneys now representing Anthony told me that this process takes time. He said an appeal likely wouldn't reach the 5th District Court of Appeals until the end of the year. If they have to move to the state or federal level, that could take even longer.
One of the turning points. I was there to show up to pray. I was hoping we could show the world this wasn't a racial divide.
Y'all just heard that, you know, for people who think, because first of all, let me correct. I heard it's some ignorant people out here and they just do not take time to research and know the facts. I cannot respect any content creator, include myself. Because one thing about me, I try my best to know the facts. I try my best to do my research, but I fuck up too as well. But when you get content creators out here that just want to grab a story and talking about it because it's trending, don't do their research, don't know what the hell they talking about, can't even pronounce the names of the people involved. as far as the family members, the defendant, the plaintiff. It's just ridiculous. So let's talk about it. Carlo, look at me mispronouncing. Carmelo Anthony has not been granted an appeal yet. There has not been an appeal granted yet. This team that is helping him now is helping him file for substitution of counsel and to help file the, get the appeal process going. He has not been granted an appeal yet. The woman just said sometimes that shit takes a good some months. They said his appeal might not be denied or granted until the end of the year. So he has not been granted an appeal yet. He just has a new set of attorneys that's stepping in to take over. Period, point blank. Okay, so let's say that at first. Now, this next clip is not Carmelo, but Austin Metcalf's dad. He's speaking out after judge releases the evidence from the murder trial. Okay, so let's listen to what he has to say, because truth. Everybody has a voice over here. Let's listen.
One of the turning points. I was there to show up to pray. I was hoping we could show the world this wasn't a racial divide thing, that we could kind of close the gap instead of widening it. But at that point, they'd obviously retained the services of Dominic Alexander, a convicted baby-shaking felon advocate who decided to throw me out of the...
This is why I don't fuck with Fox News, but I try to be fair. I don't fuck with Fox News and I don't fuck with this daddy, because I don't give a fuck what nobody say. This is my platform. I'm going to say what the fuck I feel, and I'm going to stand on it. I don't give a fuck who questions me on it. This man is a racist. This man was born... He wasn't born a racist. I'm not going to say that. He was taught to be a racist. He's a complete racist. He's one of them racists that they try to hide it. They do their best to hide it. They know when to hide it. But when that shit comes out, it comes out, and it comes out full force. It's written all over his face. It's written all over his body language. This man is a fucking racist. And he's walking around claiming to be a Christian, and he hates. Christians are not supposed to hate. Now, I'ma still say, and I don't care what nobody say, the Anthonys has shown more poise, more grace, more Christianity than this man ever will. He gets in these interviews, he does these live streams, and he blatantly shows us what type of person he is. Now, why can't you do an interview on national TV with racist ass Fox News, right? And keep it cute? Why you can't keep it cute? Why you gotta come out here and call motherfuckers names? But we're gonna listen. I'm trying my best not to say nothing. And see, another reason why I play Fox News and I play this dude talking, because I want people to see what type of person he really is. Let's listen.
One of the turning points. I was there to show up to pray. I was hoping we could show the world this wasn't a racial divide thing, that we could kind of close the gap instead of widening it. But at that point, they'd obviously retained the services of Dominic Alexander, a convicted baby-shaking felon advocate who decided to throw me out of the press conference, have me removed by police, and then proceeded to gaslight me and tell me how I was such, I can't remember the word he used, but that I shouldn't have been there, and it was not dignified to my son or myself, which I really couldn't quite understand as they proceeded to gaslight me. And also took there was a young lady who has followed the case also from the entire time. Her name is Sarah Fields. Also showed information about her. That's when they took it.
Other races, and you sitting up there talking about what somebody showed about Sarah Fields. Sarah Fields shows information about other people with her fraud ass. She's a fraud. She's a racist. And hey, races unite. I guess it is what it is.
And as they proceeded to gaslight me, and also took there was a young lady who has followed the case also from the entire time. Her name is Sarah Fields. Also showed information about her. That's when they took it from any type of remorse, which they did not show, to the fact of...
All right, what's up with y'all? So look, I'm back again with another video right now. Listen.
All right, Carlos, come on with it, Carlos.
Listen, Carmelo Anthony has some great news right now. Basically, he has a full legal team right now, and they are saying that these people are a powerhouse. So, hey, we're finna see what the hell is going to go on with this whole situation. And I do want to say, man, a lot of people are saying a lot of different things about this whole situation, but I do want to say we just don't know what's about to happen. So to take somebody's word is something that you shouldn't do right now if they're telling you that they know what is about to happen in this situation. But basically, before I get into any of that, I got this bonus going on that's going to be going on for the rest of the week for the sweepstakes on the 2026 Chevy Track. So if you want to take a chance at winning this vehicle, all you got to do is click that link, scroll to the bottom of that website, get you some entries. They will be emailed to you immediately, and you will be entered into the sweepstakes.
Y'all go check out Carlos King. I'm gonna share his this video out on my community wall. Even though I know all my true supporters already support him, for any new supporters that I may gain today, make sure y'all go check him out. Check my community wall. Click on this link. Go over there and check him out. Yeah, like the video. Let's go.
That ends August 1st at 4 p.m. Texas time, and I'm in Dallas, so you can get the time zone and be here on time. So yeah, make sure y'all go get your entries if you want to join. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I got a 2026 Chevy Track still in the plastic, still brand new, and I have the title and keys in hand. So once you win this vehicle, it's yours right out, no strings attached. All you gotta do is click that link, and yeah, I'll see y'all August 1st at 4 p.m. Texas time. Other than that, let's move back into the Carmelo Anthony situation. Now, with this Carmelo Anthony situation, a lot of evidence has came out, and a lot of people are saying a lot of different things. The father spoke out after all of this evidence came out. Now, the father of Austin, Jeff Metcalf, he spoke. Now, Carmelo Anthony's legal team, basically, I'm gonna put pictures of everybody on here to show y'all. But basically, it says right now, a team of leading appellate, civil rights, and criminal defense attorneys announced today that it has taken on. I'm reading this verbatim, so hey, if there's some grammatical issues, then don't get mad at me. But basically, it says that the attorneys announced today that it has taken on the case of Carmelo Anthony, who was recently sentenced to 35 years following the murder conviction in the death of Austin Metcalf. The team, serving pro bono, will review the trial records and pursue all available avenues to appeal. Now, y'all remember that he did file for an appeal immediately after he was sentenced, right? So they're taking this pro bono, and for those who don't know what that means, they're finna do this shit for free. Now they know that this is a good chess move, and I don't feel like this many people would jump on board if they didn't know something. But at the same time, people
absolutely, they know he was railroaded, Carlos. They know, like you said, this team would not have come together and also offered to do this for free. These are attorneys that charge a lot of money. But they came together to do this for free because they know what we don't know. See, we all out here speculating. We all out here assuming. We all out here only going by what we know. Some people just make shit up, but that's neither here nor there. But these people know something. They know something. And I also want to say, and Lord, please forgive me, Jesus. Fuck being crunk. I'm telling you, even though he working on that case over there with the 1-year-old, and I respect that or whatever, and it is what it is, even though them people just don't know he's a motherfucking bottom feeder. But fuck him. I'm sick of him. I'm sick of his milk dud head having ass showing up when it's convenient for him. He don't care nothing about these families. He don't care nothing about nothing. Only, making his little money. Fuck being crunk. I'm sick of it. I'm gonna be the first one to say it. I said what I said. How yours
like
true?
this many people would jump on board if they didn't know something. But at the same time, people do certain things to get notoriety and stuff like that. But I'm not here to put that on anyone and say that that's the case. I just look at shit unbiasedly, and I look at it on both sides of the fence. But I do want to say,
now, I do believe, Carlos, and I'm to give credence to what he just said. Lawyers, when they do cases pro bono and they decide to do cases such as this case pro bono, truth, I believe he's the one that got this team together. Well, how come? Okay, if that's the case, Ms. Carl, and I'm not, not believing what you're saying, why is he not on the forefront? Why is he, if he did get this team together, why is he not publicly speaking about this case like he's doing with the 1-year-old? I'm confused. If you're the reason why this is happening, kudos to you, but why are you hiding? And how did you find that out, Ms. Carter? Because I didn't know that. Hey, Patty Betty. I'm just asking because I didn't know that. But if that's the case, how come we hadn't seen the press conference with him and Carmelo's family like we saw him the other day with the little young couple with the baby, the 1-year-old baby? Like, it's just not making sense to me. But like I said, I will say this. When lawyers, they get paid the big bucks or whatever, and they decide to take a case such as this one pro bono, there are some advantages to that. They get the publicity. They get probably more clients, especially if they accomplish what they came out to do. You know what I'm saying? So they do benefit in other ways than they do benefit from taking cases like this on. But you know, at the end of the day, everything is about money. Everybody everybody that does something, whether it's good or bad, is for their own good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't care if they're doing it to gain notoriety. You say, I believe he started the ball rolling, and I don't know why he's not out. Okay, McCarla. It's weird though for him to be behind it or have something to do with it and not be speaking out like he's known to do. He's known to speak out. He's known to put on these press conferences. He's known to make himself known in whatever it is he's doing. So it's weird that he's not doing that with this case, but okay. I applaud him for that if that's the case. I do. Let's listen.
For these people to do that for him, that's a win for him and his family. Now, it says that Russell Wilson, Law Office of Russell Wilson II, Gary Bledsoe, the Bledsoe Law Firm. Who else? Michael L. Ware, the Law Office of Michael Ware. Brooke Cluse, I think that's how you pronounce it. Ben Crump, Sean.
So Ben Crump not in this picture right here. He's not. Okay, so he said Ben Crump. So all you idiots in the chat believes it's okay to bully people. The people being bullied should not stand up to the bully. They should run away. Get the fuck out of here. Amen. I second that emotion. The fuck. So shout out to you, Miss Carla. He did say Ben Crump. I guess he just look. Maybe he has his reasons why he's not on the forefront. I don't know. Truth, I absolutely love that the Innocence Project, I do too, is involved. They know a stupid verdict when they see one. And you know, the Innocence Project has gotten a lot of innocent people out of prison. They have. But I remember this one case, and I can't remember the name of the man that they were trying to get out of prison that was scheduled to be executed. Do y'all know that this man, I can't remember the name. I have to look the case up. But this man was in prison, had been found guilty of murder. He was scheduled to be executed. The Innocent Project, they picked it up, and they were almost there. They was almost there proving him innocent. That man got executed. And do you know those people continued to work on that case and proved that man who had just been executed was innocent? Do y'all know how sad that is for that man's family? He sat in prison for years, convicted of a crime he did not commit. By the time the Innocence Project picked it up, they was working to get a stay of execution. It didn't work. They executed the man, and months later, it came out that man was innocent, and he got executed. Now that's murder. That's murder. Okay? Let's listen.
The Rita, shit, they got some names on them because the Rita Law Firm and Justin A. Moore, Stanford Moore. What does it say? Our appellate team has been retained following the conviction to conduct a fresh, independent review of the trial records. It says we recognize the profound loss suffered by one of the young men's family and the uncertainty facing another. And we extend our respect to everyone whose lives have forever been changed by the events. Our responsibility is to determine whether a legal error occurred and to ensure that every issue supported by the record is fully and vigorously presented on appeal. The appellate process exists for precisely this purpose. So they're basically just saying, shit, we just doing our job. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, it is what it is. But I do want to say, man, it is a loss for both sides. It is a loss, especially with losing a child. I'm not here to say what's right and what's wrong if I can't hear it or know what the hell was going up under the tent. Period. You know, I had somebody say, last night they think that I'm scared to lose supporters. That's why I'm not like going after the Jeff Metcalf family and why I'm not going after Carmelo and all this other type of shit. When you're reporting on things, you got to remove your feelings and shit like that and give people what they're looking for. They want to know information. They don't be giving a damn about what you feel in a lot of different cases. Even though my supporters want to know what's up with me, but I've been posting nothing but Carmelo content. So come on now. At the same time, you know, nobody wants to lose a child. So, you know, hey, it is what it is. And I definitely don't think that things should have escalated that far, but you can't tell nobody how to react in their own situation. So it is what it is. But I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and see what the father had to say, Jeff Metcalf. And we're gonna talk about this in the comment section. Do y'all feel like that this will be something that will benefit him? Do y'all feel like that he will be able to get the appeal process going? Let me know your thoughts and opinions, man. You know, and we're gonna talk about everything in the comments. I'll holler at y'all later on another video as well.
Infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Nothing on my skin means everything. Ask your doctor about
What you doing with commercials in your sheet? This is
Skyrizi.
Austin Metcalf's dad, Jeff Metcalf, joins me now here in Dallas. Jeff, thanks for being with us here today.
Thank you, Will. Thanks for having me.
You know, I think I'd love to just start this conversation with some of what I just shared with the audience. This is not new to you. I'm sure you've seen the video and heard the 911 call. I did notice you took your earpiece out. You didn't want to hear that audio again of the 911 call.
Correct.
Just too hard to hear it again and to see this video.
And there's another body cam footage that hasn't been released, and it has some pretty graphic details, and I can hear my son screaming, and it's something I don't really want to care to listen to again.
Totally understandable. What, with this video's release, Jeff, do you hope the public can see about this moment?
Well, I mean, obviously, the trial not being publicly viewed live, due to there's so many minors involved. And that's just, that's a different subject I could talk about on its own, because look at the damage that these young students who had to witness this murder, who have to live with this for the rest of their life. Every one of them, I believe, are in counseling. PTSD could be a thing. I mean, this is a trauma that you carry the rest of your life, possibly. Hopefully they can get the help they need and move forward and not be scarred from it. Me personally, I'm the same way. I need the help too, to make sure that I can move forward. And that's what I really want to concentrate on, is moving forward. I hope this video can clear up a lot of the misinformation that was provided throughout the entire year before the trial came to light. There were multiple lies and mistruths that were put on social media.
Say what I feel about that footage that was released, y'all. This is my opinion. You know, after days and days of people talking about it, people analyzing it, people manipulating it, and this and the third. That video, to me, honestly, it didn't, to me, as far as what happened up under that tent, it didn't give me any clarity or anything about the interaction between Carmelo, Hunter, and Austin and anybody else up under that tent. All that video really showed, honestly, all that video showed to me, honestly, was Carmelo's, what it clearly showed was Carmelo's actions after it happened. It showed the body cam of him admitting that he did it. It showed that he was apologetic. He was sorry for it. It showed them arresting him and showed them leading him out the stadium. What actually happened up under that tent is still unclear. I don't know why people are coming to these conclusions and saying, oh, we know this to be this and the third, just from that motherfucking video, because the only thing that video showed us was a scuffle up under the tent, Carmelo running from up under the tent, and this and the third. That's the only clear thing about that video. What actually transpired up under that, not even a tent, canopy, is still unclear. So I don't know why people are taking that video and saying, oh, it's definitely this or it's definitely that. No. Release the what I know to be out there. No matter what nobody say to me, I am convinced that there is a video and audio of what happened up under that tent, and it's not being released or has not been brought forward. I still say it to this day. And the reason why I say it is because those were teenagers up under that canopy. I know damn well somebody recorded what was going on. And I also say it because in court, them people stated that they had a photograph of the medics working on Austin. How do you get a photograph of the medics working on Austin unless somebody took that picture up under that tent or a video was made and they took it out the video? So I'm still convinced that they're still hiding what exactly happened. Now, what was made clear to me, though, from seeing that video, is that Carmelo was sitting down when Austin approached him. So they're saying that, you know, their whole thing was Carmelo went up under that tent to instigate or provoke. Bullshit, in my opinion. Let's listen.
media, that were spoken by even individuals that have some fame. People had their own opinions without even seeing the facts. And that's the part I have trouble with.
What do you make of that? Candidly, with the audience, you and I spoke a little bit earlier today, and it's one of the great mysteries for me, and how something that is so clear, the facts so obvious, was turned into something that was this great national discussion of race. I think you called it earlier. How did this become George Floyd 2.0?
Unfortunately, in today's moral decay of society, as we witnessed, people believe that if they have their own voice, they scream loud enough, they're right. And they believe perception is their own reality. It may not be truth, but in their mind, it is their own reality. For a person to not able to objectively look at something, use common logic, common sense, to come to a determination just based on merely the facts, not the color of one's skin, that tells me a whole lot about your character if you choose that direction.
And you told me you feel like you know the moment this became more than simply a horrible tragedy and a crime story in North Texas, where it became this larger thing, and it was that press conference.
Yes, sir. I do believe that was probably one of the turning points. I was there to show up to pray. I was hoping we could show the world this wasn't a racial divide thing, that we could kind of close the gap instead of widening it. But at that point, they'd obviously retained the services of Dominique Alexander, a convicted baby-shaking felon advocate who decided to throw me out of the press conference, had me removed by police, and then proceeded to gaslight me and tell me how I was such, I can't remember the word he used, but that I shouldn't have been there, and it was not dignified to my son or myself.
It wasn't. You had no business being there. I still say that. I don't care how many people want to come out here and keep saying, oh, he went there to make peace, he went there to pray. The motherfucker walked in there, he ain't said a word to nobody. He walked in there because he felt like he was entitled to be there. Okay? He walked in there as if he was entitled to be there. He walked in there to make a statement. He walked in there to intimidate. He walked in there to get camera time, which is what he's been getting ever since this shit happened. It is what the fuck it is. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something about somebody who has, genuine intentions on making peace and keeping the peace and making this about God and prayer. You reach out to them folks privately. I know he couldn't call them, himself. He could have reached out to them people's representatives, who at the time was Dominique Alexander. He could have reached out to him to have him convey a message to them to do this in private. For you to wait for those people to hold a press conference speaking on their son and speaking out for the first and only time about their son, for you to show up there, that bullshit. And it's just like I said about all this shit on YouTube, certain things need to be done in private. It don't always have to be a public moment. It don't always have to be you coming out on social media doing some shit on social media. If he wanted to really be peaceful with these people and pray and this and the third, it would have been done privately. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. He can sit up there and say he walked in there to pray and this and the third. Bullshit.
Which I really couldn't quite understand as they proceeded to gaslight me. And also took it, there was a young lady who has followed the case also from the entire town. Her name is Sarah Fields. Also showed information about her. That's when they took it from any type of remorse, which they did not show, to the fact of now we're going to play the race card. And now we're going to politicize this. Now we're getting a political activist involved. The two things I said on one of the first interviews I ever did was, please don't make this about race and please don't politicize it. But they chose to do both.
And your goal that day was to simply get together and pray?
All I wanted, yeah. I was actually hoping to show them, hey, look, man, I know what happened was terrible. And your son made a horrible mistake. I was hoping for some accountability.
Why the fuck you ain't walk in there and say that? You didn't say a word to nobody. You just walked in there and stood in there like you own the place. If that was the case, why didn't you say that? And you can't allow everybody to pray for you. I wouldn't take a prayer from you, bitch, if you was the last prayer on the planet. I'm just saying.
Ability, maybe, and some remorse. Neither one was shown.
Have you ever spoken to the Anthonys?
No.
No apology, no remorse?
Nothing.
You were telling me you were inside the courtroom, quite obviously. After
the Anthonys need to apologize. Carmelo committed the crime, okay? He committed the act. The Anthonys don't owe him no apology. And for you all to keep saying there's no remorse, Carmelo showed remorse. Let's talk about the remorse. Carmelo showed remorse after everything happened right then and there. He showed remorse. The Anthony showed remorse At that press conference, even after this dude, I'm sorry, y'all, my landscaper. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. They was right by the window. They cutting it, and I'm glad they cut because this rain that we've been having, y'all. I ain't never seen my grass that damn high, but they handled it. So yeah. But listen, Carmelo showed remorse right after it happened. We heard it on the body cam footage. The Anthony showed remorse and compassion for that family. If you listen to the mom speak at that press conference and what she said, that family has shown remorse, but don't nobody want to talk about that. He want to sit up here and lie in interview after interview saying there was no remorse, no remorse, no remorse. Get the hell out of here! Like, I'm not gonna ignore what I've seen and heard for myself. I'm not gonna ignore it. I'm not. Cause motherfuckers want to sit up here and gaslight the people and play victim. Honey, like I said, they railroaded the you know what. Hold on, ooh, y'all typing that is. They railroaded the you know what out of Carmelo, and they thought they would get away with it. Absolutely, absolutely.
For the verdict, the Anthonys left. They weren't there for Carmelo's sentencing.
That is correct. They weren't there for the sentencing, and they were not there for victim impact statements. They left that poor child up there by himself. As soon as the verdict was read.
Shut the hell up. Also, why are you so concerned about the Anthonys? Shouldn't you be taking this time to talk about your son and what your family's going through? Why are you so concerned about them and what they did? See, this is what I'm talking about. Hold on a minute. Let me see something. Hey, Miss Coleman. How you doing? You shouldn't think about it. It's an awful thing. I've been there, done that. And I'm going to just say this. I'm going to just say this to you, Miss Coleman. Even when you lose a child, and I've lost a child. Okay? I've lost a child through gun violence. Even when you lose a child, and I know emotions be high and you be all over the place and you be feeling certain things, it's still a way to handle everything. I am not going to sit up here and give adults a pass. You know, everybody wants to say he lost, even with that whole 2-hour racist rant he did, and it was completely racist. Okay? People want to say, give him a break. He lost a child, this, that, and the third. No. Because even when you lose a child, just think about it. I know how I moved in the aftermath of losing my child. I thought about the way I moved, and I want my child to be looking down on me and be approving of how I behave or how I conduct myself. Because you can't feed ignorance with ignorance. You can't feed violence with violence. You can't do that. Even in losing a child, there's still a certain way that you should conduct yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way that you can say it was all right for that man to put on that 2-hour racist rant just because he lost a child. I've been there, done that. And people don't understand to this day. I go back and forth with a friend of mine that say, I just don't understand how you think the way you think, because it is how I think. And I'm not going to switch up the way I think. Just how you can't tell people how to fight. You can't tell people. I'm not telling nobody how to grieve. I'm only talking about myself. I'm not telling this dude how to grieve. All I'm saying is what I think about the grief. I'm not telling nobody how to grieve. I'm not doing that because people try to tell me how to grieve. I'm not telling nobody. I'm just saying there's no passes given to anybody. Because the reason why I say that is because you would give a pass to him. But if Carmelo Anthony daddy was out here acting a fool, he wouldn't be granted a pass. Let me tell you something. The dude that killed my son was biracial. Okay? That dude was biracial. His mama was white. His mama went on Facebook and said all kind of fuck shit about my son. Said all kind of fuck shit. I could have easily took that and went the fuck off. My son was gone. I could have easily took what that bitch did on Facebook, used that as an excuse to wild the fuck out. But did I do it? No. No. Because still in grieving, You have to teach. You have to do as you teach your kids to do. This man taught his sons to do exactly what he's been doing ever since this shit happened. The way you behave is how you taught your kids to behave. I know how I taught my son to behave. I know how I taught him how to handle situations. So guess what? When it was my time to show him or to act as I preach, I did it. I did it. That's all I'm saying. I ain't judging nobody or telling nobody how to handle grief. But until you place in that position, all I'm saying is this. It's a way to do everything. You can't tell me that going on a 2 hours racist rant was okay because this man lost his son. What justice is that for your son? How are you honoring your son by doing that? How would I have honored my son by taking to social media and acting an ass? How was that honoring my son? You already had people out here lying on YouTube calling him a thug and saying he deserved what he got. Why would I feed into that and act the way other people were acting? That's all I'm saying, and I'm gonna move on.
He was guilty. His family and some other advocates left the courtroom and turned in their badges.
Jeff, I was talking to you earlier. I asked about Austin's twin brother, Hunter. And I asked you.
On everything, Natasha. On everything. Get their asses up out of here. You already know it. Clicking if you don't mean shit to me. Because I can't read. These comments are moving fast, and I'm focusing on this content. So, whoever you feel like need to get the fuck out, get them the fuck out. And I mean that.
What has life been like for Hunter in school? Frisco Memorial has other black students. What's the relationships been like at school? What has life been like for Hunter?
Well, I can't speak, for Hunter. I can only try to imagine. But I mean, he held his grades. He had straight A's this year.
No, because he don't speak to Hunter. He don't know what the hell Hunter going through. Let me tell it. That's my opinion. He didn't know what the hell was going on with Hunter before this shit happened. And I'm just going back. You know what? I'm gonna be quiet.
He was captain of the football team, took over his brother's position.
Thank you.
I honestly can't see anyone that has the strength or the mental fortitude as much as that young man does. I told him right after the trial when he went up to give his victim impact statement that I saw a boy walk up there, but what I saw walk down was a man. He was calm, to the point, was able to articulate his words in a way that could be very understood very well, asked Carmelo to look him in the eye to show him some respect, and never once became emotional and was able to
make somebody respect you. Emotional my ass. He didn't have to be emotional. You can't make nobody respect you. You can't make people respect. See, that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. The same way he bogarted his way up in that damn press conference, the same way you and your son stood up there and tried to bully that boy into looking at y'all when he didn't want to look at y'all, and you can't make somebody respect you. You can't. You can't make nobody do nothing. You can't make somebody leave from up under a tent that's not yours.
Convey what his thoughts were at that moment.
And you told me that multiple black students throughout Frisco Memorial High, also in the middle school, the entire community rallied around Hunter, rallied around your family, rallied around Austin. The point being, what was happening actually on the ground and in your lives was so different than what was taking place in the national media, in the conversation, for example, on The View.
Don't get me started on left liberal who have Showtime. But anyway, the community and the school itself, obviously, we dedicated the season to Austin, and there was a logo, motto, whatever you want to call it, it's called All In. A stood for Austin. The two ones were his number 11. I stand for integrity. N stands for never quit. And they dedicated the season to him, and that became the motto. And they also presented me and Megan with a framed jersey of Austin, with this jersey number 11 that hangs above my fireplace as we speak. But as far as the makeup of the team, I mean, I'd say half the team are blacks. I mean, we don't see color, so all I see is character.
Well, shit. Let me ask y'all a question for my true supporters, not the fuckers in here that need attention. Why do y'all think he's out here doing all this press coverage and the wife is not? I mean, I know they're not together. When we see Carmelo's mom, we see his dad. When we see the dad, we see the mom. Why do you think this dude is out here doing all this press coverage and the mom is silent? What do y'all think?
In people, I don't care what color you are. I want to judge you how you treat people. What's your character like? Your color makes no difference. It doesn't determine your IQ. It doesn't determine your faith. It doesn't determine how much money you have. But your character shows who you are truly. And that's how I judge people.
And you said, don't get me started on it, but to your point, a lot of big voices in the media have talked about this, said, I don't understand. I could play a clip for you, which I'm not going to, of Sonny Hostin on The View saying, I don't understand how this couldn't possibly be self-defense. So what is your judgment of all these people in the media that have spoke on the case?
Well, they're just like anybody else. They don't know me. They don't know Hunter, Austin. They don't know Carmelo. They're looking for their 15 minutes of fame or their clickbait or their clicks. They're looking to monetize the death of my son. I really wish they were.
You're monetizing the death of your son, sir. That's why you're doing all this press coverage. That's why you're going to continue to do press. You're monetizing. Let's talk about it. Let's be honest and real here. You're monetizing from your son's death. You and your wife got separate GoFundMe accounts up still to this day collecting money off of the death of your son. For what, though? What are you doing? I mean, if that's the case, that's the case. If people want to support, they support. Okay, great. But don't speak about other people monetizing off of it when you the main you the main one being monetized. Like you're being monetized off it. Stop it. And that's what everything always boils down to is money. Point blank period. When it comes to life or death, everything boils down everything, and people place so much emphasis on money. To this day, this man is being monetized off of the back of his off of the death of his son. Period.
Wouldn't speak about at all. Because one, if that woman said that, she has no idea about the facts of the case, but she wants to spew her public opinion on a platform that reaches millions of people every day. Do I have that platform? No, but today I have a little platform to say what I'd like. She is completely wrong.
You did it, and you can't be mad because the platform she spoke on was bigger than yours. You went on your platform for 2 hours and had a whole racist rant. Ain't nobody talking about that, though. Fox News ain't talking about that with your drunk ass. You was drunk. Drunk as a skunk. And came out here and showed America who you really are. How come the only people I see talking about that is YouTubers? How come what he did on his platform in that racist rant is not out here on Fox News, NBC, MS? How come that ain't out? Because I guarantee you they're being deleted because that's what we can do. And you can be deleted too. Don't question what the fuck goes on in my chat or on my live. You can get the hell out. Comments are being deleted because my mind deem it my minds handle my chat. They control my chat. And if they want to delete your ass, they're going to delete you. Period. And ain't nobody going to question it. How about that? Now, back to the subject at hand. Listen. You can't get mad because that woman said what she said on whatever platform she was on, and her platform is bigger than yours. You did what you wanted to do on your platform. You said what the fuck you wanted to say. It is what it is.
And if they want to take me and call me and ask me to be on The View with them, I would gladly fly me up there.
Nobody wants you but Fox. The View and everybody else know that you're a racist. You're a drunk racist. They don't want you on them platforms. Continue going to Fox. Stay over there. They don't want you.
Let me talk to all of you.
Well, I can promise you more people are watching you right now than watch The View.
It's not hard to believe.
Last thing.
Bye.
Jeff, you said that they don't know your son. What would you like the world to know about Austin Metcalf?
Man, I don't think we have enough time. But, Austin, I'll try to sum it up. He was a leader. He was a God-fearing son. He had compassion. He showed love. He always helped. Always was helping his teammates, always helping the younger kids from middle school who were transitioning to high school football. He would go and talk to them and tell them what to expect. He would coach them in the weight room. He was a leader. When he stepped on that field, he became someone totally different. And he played, I told him once before, I said, son, you play with such controlled rage. and it shows. And for him to have all the accolades and the thing and wait.
That right there says a lot. Why do he have rage, and why does he need to control it? Because that's telling that his daddy said that, because there are students at that school, cheerleaders, students at that school that say he was very angry. He stayed fucking with people. Cheerleaders sent the whole email to another content creator or another person saying he always was angry. He always was fucking with people. So for his daddy to say on the field he controlled his rage, or he showed controlled rage, that says a lot. I'm pushing play.
He was going, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind he was playing D1 football. But, let's just go a step forward. Maybe there's that 1% chance he does get to the NFL. I'm maybe biased because he's my son, but he had the numbers, the stats, and the size. So the possibility does exist. I don't know about the probability, but the possibility surely existed.
Well, I'm sorry for all that you and your family have been through, and you and I've spoken, and I know you're continuing to go through it. I know you're getting a lot that is completely undeserved and unfortunate out there. So you continue to, but I appreciate you sharing with us, and with the world about Austin.
Well, that's one thing, all in, and this is one of the things that people understand that we did all the time was this, and this is sign language for I love you. If you ever see my boys or whatever, that was kind of like, their thing to tell me, hey man, I'm thinking about you, I love you. And I just want the world to understand, it all starts with you, and it all starts at home. So as a parent, do your best. Are your kids? Doesn't mean they're going to turn out right or wrong. It doesn't guarantee that they will live or die. But I do believe if you instill your moral values and a moral compass, I think our society is going the wrong direction right now. And us as parents are the only ones that are able to change this, because our kids are the future. And what does our future look like with what we're teaching them right now that is acceptable?
I've been saying, but this man keep talking about what you're teaching your kids, and you should teach your kids this and you should do that. That's exactly what I was saying when I said how I reacted or not reacted after my son passed. Like, if you taught your baby, if you taught your son during his life not to be racist, not to be a bully, not to be angry, not to be, you are displaying everything that, to me, honestly, he displayed up under that tent, being a bully, being entitled, trying to tell somebody what to do. But yeah, you say teach your kids. You taught yours. And I'm not saying he should be gone away from here because of that. I still say Austin should not be unalive. He shouldn't have been unalive. He should not be dead. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But we as parents sometimes have to sit and think. This man is fighting his own demons. He fighting himself. That's why, to get his ass out here on social media and on the news with all this anger and want to up Austin now. He want to talk so good about Austin. And I don't expect him to talk no other way but up his son. But this man dealing with his own motherfucking demons. And I don't know why don't nobody realize it. I don't understand why people don't realize it. That mama know. That's why that mama sitting over there biting her lip and biting her tongue every time this motherfucker get on social media and try to act like he was the A1 okay daddy. Because she know. She know in real life what life was like with that dude. That's why she ain't saying shit. That's why she ain't sitting by his side. I don't give a fuck whether they married or not. Me and my ex-husband weren't married when my son passed, and we stuck together. Okay? So don't tell me just because they ain't together, they ain't married, that they ain't supposed to come together for the greater good to represent their son. But that woman know in real life what this dude is and what he taught those kids and what he didn't teach them. She know. That's why the fuck she ain't around. Tell me.
Jeff Metcalf, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
That's it for that one, y'all. That interview on Fox. See, I'm very fair. This next one is from Fox. Let's listen. Or was that the one? Hold on. I think that was the same one. Let's see.
And you already know on this channel we hold this.
Let's get into introvert Rockstar. I love him. Let's listen.
Racist system accountable, because if we don't, who will? And if you don't like it, get the stepping, because it ain't gonna stop. Now run the tape.
Okay, I see two dudes moving clearly right here, left and right. Carmelo's right up under there. Witnesses said after this happened, Austin said, I got stabbed, and then he fell backwards. Everybody moved. Those two went over here. Somebody down here ran over here. Carmelo pops out the top without his bag. Remember, there was reports that they were grabbing at his bag. Here we go. Two dudes moving. Boom, boom. Carmelo pops out the top. They're right here.
Don't reach for anything, all right, man? Stop right there.
One rocks over the top. The other one dips out. Nobody there. So witnesses said that he fell backwards. I mean, that might have happened over here, but it didn't happen anywhere here. Right after it happened, just goes to a recollection of events. You're able to be, you know, when shit's like this, goes to truthfulness, all that stuff. But this is not determinative either way. But sorry, dude, I see two dudes on it, period. That's what I see. Two people moving and him.
Hold on. Stop right there for me. Dispatch 443. I got these suspects, and they're currently treating the victim. Right.
He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
What's happening right now? Already? No. We searched them. Got nothing.
I don't know what happened.
It's up to you. It's up to you. Have a seat here real quick, man. Watch your head. Let me check your hood here, buddy. Okay. Yes, sir. Well, I'll tell you what. Lean this way, so you're not resting on your hands. Okay. Yes, all right. See a little bit of blood on your hands there. Okay. Yes, all right. So your first name is Carmelo.
Carmelo.
Let's see. Hold on one second. I don't know yet, man. Carmelo. Carara. Melo. Carmelo. What's your last name? Anthh. And why? Where are you in?
I'm in 12th grade.
10th grade? You go to Emerson?
No, sir.
Where'd you go? Centennial. Okay.
I'm in 12th grade.
12th grade? Okay. No, Centennial. All right. Sit tight for me real quick, buddy, all right?
Carmelo just got revenge in the Metcalf case. As supporters say, newly released footage shows he was surrounded before the confrontation. They believe the video adds important context and could give his appeal team new arguments as they challenge the conviction. Make that make sense. And in the words of Johnny Taylor, they running out of lies, getting hard to think of an alibi. These people dropped this blurry ass video on Juneteenth on purpose and because they can hear them saxophones getting louder and louder. See, they really running out of lies, bro. You telling me all the other angles was clear as day, except the fight? Yeah, all right. That fight happened April 2025, and it took them over a year just to show us the footage. It took them over a year just to show us the evidence, but we'll talk about that later on in this video. So before I spaz out, it's crazy how they tampered with those videos just to make Carmelo Anthony look guilty, but it didn't work because the day before, another witness came forward. Man, run the tape.
As I'm watching the video, I can look up in the canopy and I can see Carmelo sitting there. He has on a gray sweatshirt. I see people that are re-entering the bleachers, the stadium. And I see a group of 6 that's walking closely together. Now, 2 of them veer off. One go up the bleachers, which is on my right. And then one continues to walk straight. Then I see a group of 4. Now, they're walking a little hurried. They walk directly up to where Carmelo is sitting. They go into the bleachers and they stop right in front of Carmelo. And when they stop in front of Carmelo, the entrance of the bleacher blocked. He couldn't get out. You can't see the other end of the bleacher because there's only like
Thank you, Sonya. I was muted, girl, talking my ass off. Thank y'all. Listen, y'all know how I do. Shout out to my people who got my back. Listen, so what I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying. Now, people are saying that the witnesses that have come out and said they've seen this video where they can clearly see what happened up under that canopy. People are saying, you know, the people that I'm just saying, people are saying that those people were paid to come out. They were paid to come out and lie about what they saw, this and the third. See, people are not, thank you, Adela. People are not entertaining the fact that there is more than one video. I promise y'all, I stand on it. I would bet money on it that there is more than one video out there of what happened. Now, You may say, Truth, what do you mean? The video that was dropped on Juneteenth is the video from the school cameras that's up far, far, far away. For some odd reason, the video that these people, that several witnesses have come out and spoke about, they saw a different video. How come people can't stop and think about that? Instead of coming up with this weird notion that these people are being paid to come out here and say what they saw. Whatever these people signed up, they went to go see a video. They signed up to see this video. Whatever video they saw is not the same video that we saw. They saw close up. What these people are describing, we couldn't see from this footage that was dropped on June 19th. We couldn't see that close. We were not that close to see. And I stand on it that there is more than one video of what happened. There's the video of the footage from the school camera that's far, far, far away. And then there's some video that they got from somebody that was up under that canopy or closer. Because listen to how this woman describes what she saw. And the thing about it is, these are people from different, these people don't know each other that's coming out here saying what they saw. And they all saying the same thing. Let's listen.
As I'm watching the video, I can look up in the canopy and I can see Carmelo sitting there. He has on a gray sweatshirt. I see people that are re-entering the bleachers, the stadium. And I see a group of 6 that's walking closely together. Now, 2 of them veer off. One go up the bleachers, which is on my right. And then one continues to walk straight. Then I see a group of 4. Now, they're walking a little hurried. They walk directly up to where Carmelo is sitting. They go into the bleachers and they stop right in front of Carmelo. And when they stop in front of Carmelo, the entrance of the bleacher blocked. He couldn't get out. You can't see the other end of the bleacher because there's only like, I would say half of the canopy that's showing on the video screen.
On purpose. Half of the video not showing, to me, honestly, on purpose. But okay.
So they stand there for a few minutes and then all of a sudden you see movement under the canopy where Carmelo is sitting. You see shoulders moving, you see ducking, you know. You see Carmelo kind of lean out and come back in. And then he leans out again. It's like he does a backward fall off the bleacher. He crawls just a little bit. He says up. He goes up a couple of bleachers. He looks around, and then he runs to my right. The bleachers on my right.
Mind you, this lady came out and spoke before that video was dropped on June 19th. Are y'all listening? So just remember what y'all been seeing in the media as far as that footage that they dropped on June 19th. And remember, this lady came out and said this before that footage was dropped. So this is not based off of what we saw on June 19th. This woman came out and spoke before that was dropped. Listen, and listen how precise she is about what she saw and what we saw.
Where Carmelo is sitting. You see shoulders moving, you see ducking, you know. You see Carmelo kind of lean out and come back in. And then he leans out again. It's like he does a backward fall off the bleacher. He crawls just a little bit. He says up. He goes up a couple of bleachers. He looks around, and then he runs to my right. The bleachers on my right, diagonally down. When he gets down to the bottom, he falls. Now, at the same time, I see 3 boys running down the stairs. Carmelo quickly gets up and continues to run out of the frame. The 3 boys are chasing behind him, and then one stops.
A day before the footage was released, another witness came forward claiming Carmelo was surrounded during the confrontation. Supporters say the newly released video appears to back up that account and provides more context about what happened. Make that make sense. And you can see he was surrounded, bro. But like they say in Chicago, Carmelo got little on their ass and he was too.
But let me say this. There's a couple of content creators, and it's just asinine to me what people tend to want to focus on. Dang, I wonder where she was. I saw her. Well, she saw it. I hope his new team. Of course they got it. That's why they're his new team. So listen, I it's a content creator that at one point in time I respected, I listened to, and it's amazing how now today I think, he's just scum. I'm sorry. Like you can't just come out here and just, do shit for YouTube and for clicks and views and to keep up this whole bullshit ass notion. This is the thing. There are some content creators that's focusing on the fact of whether or not Carmelo was jumped under that tent. Let me state my opinion on that. Carmelo was not jumped because Carmelo didn't give them people a chance to jump him. Do I think Carmelo was approached by the 4 guys that people keep saying went up under that tent and surrounded him? Absolutely. He was not jumped because it wasn't a chance for him to be jumped. Carmelo knew he was about. I feel like he felt like he was about to be jumped. Now, Carmelo was honest when he ran from those bleachers and was talking to that cop and said that he put his hands on me. He said he, meaning Austin. He was honest. Austin is the only somebody that put his hands on Carmelo, but he was absolutely surrounded by other people that walked up with Austin. Would he have been jumped? Had he not did what he did, maybe. We'll never know. But he was definitely approached by more than just Austin. There was Hunter and there was others. And people want to focus on the fact, y'all keep saying he was jumped. Y'all keep saying he was jumped. He wasn't jumped. No, he wasn't jumped. He wasn't jumped. But was he approached by more than just one person? Absolutely. Absolutely. But let's listen.
Fast. Then I said, wait. About what happened. Make that make sense. And you can see he was surrounded, bro. But like they say in Chicago, Carmelo got little on their ass and he was too fast. Then I said, wait. Those twins were suspended, bro. They was never supposed to be at that track meet. But you don't see nobody talking about that part. And if I'm lying in my comment section, tell me I'm lying. I keep telling y'all, man.
Absolutely not. They was in trouble with the coaches. Absolutely. But they want to talk about, they want to spread the lie that Carmelo was suspended. Let's listen.
All those people are on the same team. The judges, the whole town of Frisco, Texas, man, the attorneys, the DA, and the media. I can go on and on. That whole trial was rigged from the jump. And that's why they can wait over a year to show us the footage, over a year just to show us the evidence. But this ain't nothing new, bro. The rabbit hole gets even deeper. Check this out. Supporters of Carmelo are questioning why some footage and photos took more than a year to be released. Some also believe the video appears edited or incomplete. Make that make sense. And in the words of Malcolm X, the media has the power to make the innocent guilty and the guilty innocent.
Come on.
And he was right. This blurry ass video took over a year, bro, because they tampered with the most important part just to make Carmelo Anthony look bad. And if I'm tripping in my comment section, tell me I'm tripping. Then I say, wait. These raccoons and racist Caucasian people, bro, they only have outrage when black people defend themselves against racism. Where was that same outrage when Daniel Penny murdered an innocent black man, bro? Oh, they raised over $2 million for him. Where was that same outrage when George Zimmerman murdered Trayvon?
Come on.
Oh, they was online. They was on the internet trolling with Skittles.
Come on.
Where is the same outrage for black women when they go to these hospitals for simple surgeries, when they go to the hospital to have a baby and these doctors murder them on purpose, bro, while they in labor? Where is?
Let's talk about one that I don't think people talk enough about. What about Sonya Massey? Since we want to talk about Austin being unarmed and Carmelo having this quote unquote knife, what about that woman who was in her own home following the direction of the police, who she called, by the way, for protection for herself and ended up getting killed? This woman was in her own home She called the police for her protection. She had a pot of water boiling on her stove. She was instructed by the cop, or told the cop, I can't remember the exact details, but to cut the water, she wanted to cut the water off. And when she went to go do what she was told to do, this man shot her. Police, white cop, shot her dead in her own home. Child.
It's the outrage. Where is the outrage for Mr. Robert Brooks? 18 prison workers, bro. 18 prison workers. They handcuffed him and they beat him to death, bro.
Come on.
Where is the outrage? Where is the outrage for the 1-year-old baby down in Mississippi, bro? That was shot, that was murdered by a cop. His name is Hunter Foster. Where is the videos, bro? Where is the outrage? Where is the outrage for Cyrus, bro? A grown man chased him down and shot him 14 years old.
Come on. This is my dude. You hear me? This is my dude.
Where is the videos, man? And I can go on and on. The only crime, the only thing Carmelo is guilty of is defending himself, bro. And he not doing 35 years in prison. I said what I said. It is what it is, partner. Some supporters are comparing this case to Karen Lacey's, arguing that important footage was released long after the public had already formed opinions. They say that when video evidence surfaces months or even a year later, it can raise questions about transparency and whether the full story was presented from the beginning. Make that make sense. And in the words of Tupac, revenge is like the sweetest joy next to getting, if you know, you know. Listen, anytime Caucasian people are guilty, bro, they're going to wait over a year to release anything about them. But let black people do anything. Let black people commit a crime, bro. They going to have your mug shot everywhere. It's going to be all over social media. It's going to be on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, bro. Let you commit a crime and they can't find you. They going to find somebody that look like you, bro. Let you commit a crime, man. They going to have your footage the same day and they going to play it over and over and over again. If I'm lying in my comment section, tell me I'm lying. See, they've been running the same play, bro, and they really mad because in 2026, we standing on business and we calling a blitz. If you know, you know. And you already know, before I end this video, I have to always speak from my heart. Before I end this video, I have to always speak from my heart. Look, bro, one thing I do love is our people coming together day by day. I know their ancestors are happy, bro. I know they're proud of us. And look, if you have a platform, man, use your platform to be a voice for your people. It's very important. I'm out, bro. But before I go, it finally makes sense, man. It all makes sense. Austin and his brother, they learned how to be a bully from their parents, bro. I'm thinking it's only Jeff. No, it's not just him, bro. It's the mother too. They learned how to be a bully from both of them. Listen to the mother. Run the tape.
Said that he watched it. He said that Carmelo was getting.
I need y'all to hear this. I'm gonna put the closed caption on, if I can. Hold on. I need y'all to hear this. I'm gonna back it up a little bit.
Always speak from my heart. Look, bro, one thing I do love is our people coming together day by day. I know their ancestors are happy, bro. I know they're proud of us. And look, if you have a platform, man, use your platform to be a voice for your people. It's very important. I'm out, bro. But before I go, it finally makes sense, man. It all makes sense. Austin and his brother, they learned how to be a bully from their parents, bro. I'm thinking it's only Jeff. No, it's not just him, bro. It's the mother too. They learned how to be a bully from both of them. Listen to the mother. Run the tape.
Said that he watched it. He said that Carmelo was getting chased and all that. And I don't know if that's something that you guys know how to debunk those things because we all know the research. Don't you worry, sweetheart. I am on it. When his name is Dwayne, and I am. Don't worry.
911. What is the location of the emergency?
I'm gonna play that again. This is the mama convincing some. This is the mama telling somebody to change the narrative of what happened. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna play that again.
Hey, bro, and they really mad because in 2026 we standing. on business, and we calling a blitz. If you know, you know.
All right, Lisa.
Hey, you already know. Before I end this video, I have to always speak from my heart. Before I end this video, I have to always speak from my heart. Look, bro, one thing I do love is our people coming together day by day. I know their ancestors are happy, bro. I know they're proud of us. And look, if you have a platform, man, use your platform to be a voice for your people. It's very important. I'm out, bro. But before I go, it finally makes sense, man. It all makes sense. Austin and his brother, they learned how to be a bully from their parents, bro. I'm thinking it's only Jeff. No. It's not just him, bro. It's the mother, too. They learned how to be a bully from both of them. Listen to the mother. Run the tape.
He watched it. He said that Carmelo was getting chased and all that. And I don't know if that's something that you guys know how to debunk those things, because we all know the surgery. Don't you worry, sweetheart. I am on it. His name is Dwayne, and I am. No worries.
Frisco 911, what is the location of the emergency?
All right.
How are we talking about stadium?
Next clip, y'all. This is the next clip. This is Law and Crime Network. Law and Crime Network. Let's listen to what they had to say, y'all. All right, let's go.
My friend just got stabbed.
Now, for the first time, we're seeing the footage that helped convince jurors Carmelo Anthony was guilty of murdering Austin Metcalf.
What's your name, man?
Carmelo Anthony, K-A-R-M-E. Shocking new body cam captures Anthony's first words about what he claims happened.
He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
But does the video tell a different story? We have the body cam, the surveillance, and the moments that turned track meet mayhem into a cold-blooded murder. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. We have a lot to get to in this episode. Cody Thomas from Court TV, who was one of the few journalists in the courtroom.
I hadn't seen this video. But I guarantee you who's about to bring on is black. Let's watch.
For the entire trial, we'll be here in a moment to break down what we're looking at as we go through the surveillance video of the moment Carmelo Anthony stabbed Austin Metcalf, as well as some of the pictures that have now been made public. One of the challenges in covering this trial was no cameras were allowed. So we would hear about this surveillance video, which you're about to see, of the alleged confrontation between Anthony and Metcalf, and we would read the police documents that laid out what Anthony allegedly said to officers on that day. But now, after the verdicts, and now that Anthony is in prison for as long as 35 years, we are seeing the evidence that everyone inside the courtroom was able to see during this trial.
It's the alleged suspect.
Okay. I am. No, I'm not. I know how it goes. I'm not alleged. Okay.
That is body cam video of an officer arriving on scene after Carmelo Anthony had already been placed in handcuffs. And in that body cam, you can hear Anthony tell the officer that he is not alleged to have stabbed Austin Metcalf. He says he did it. We do have more body cam video to show you here in just a moment, but I want to begin with the 911 call that came in from the track meet in Frisco, Texas in April of last year.
Frisco 911, what is the location of the emergency?
Hi, we're at Taekwondo Stadium. My friend just got stabbed.
Okay, do you know who stabbed him?
We have no clue. He was sitting in our tent, but you need to send an ambulance right now.
They're on the way, okay? Give me a description of the person that stabbed him.
He was wearing a gray essential hoodie. He was black. He's standing out on the track right now.
He's standing on the track?
Yes.
Okay.
His blue sweatpants on and gone.
Okay, what did he stab your friend with?
I don't know. My friend's bleeding everywhere.
Okay. And where was he stabbed at?
The chest.
Okay. And do you still see the person that stabbed him, or did he leave?
It was Austin. Austin stabbed him instead. I'm sorry, what did you say?
The person that stabbed him, is he still there? Do you still see him?
Coaches detained Carmelo until police arrived, and you hear in that call so much chaos and panic as people are tending to Austin Metcalf. Austin would die from a stab wound to the chest, and at trial, the medical examiner said there was no way that Austin could have survived an injury that severe. Now, this is a 911 call from a coach who was trying to save Austin's life.
We have Army veteran that's trying to keep compression on the wound.
Okay. Are you with him now?
He is laying here. He
How old is he?
Starting to go unconscious.
How old is he?
High school age, so maybe 15, 16, 17.
Okay. Is he awake?
No, he's going unconscious.
Okay. Is he breathing?
Not right now.
Breathing.
No, he's not.
He's not breathing at all?
No.
Okay, where was he stabbed at?
In his chest.
There was a moment as we go through these 911 calls where coaches thought that Austin started breathing again and that there was this sign of hope that he could survive. But the Army veteran who was tending to Austin, who was also a coach, he testified at trial, he told jurors that he knew that Austin was gone. And I want you to listen just to the background of this call here as coaches are doing chest compressions on Austin Metcalf. Listen to the chaos.
Freaking out, and they were just trying to contain him.
Let me know when they're with you, okay? Let me know when they're with you. Let me know if you stop.
Come on, Austin. Come on, Austin. Come on, back.
Okay, we got the suspect, okay? So you guys just focus on him, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Come on.
I'm going to keep you with me, okay, until they're with you. Is he breathing still?
He's trying, yeah. We're doing compressions and giving him mouth to mouth.
Okay.
Austin died at that track. I want to show you now the body cam video of when officers detained Carmelo Anthony. And I want you to listen to what Carmelo says and how his tone changes as he perhaps realizes what he just did.
Oh, hold on. If somebody is shooting at the victim, they need to be over there. Don't reach for anything, all right, man? Stop right there for me. Dispatch 443. I got the suspects, and they're currently treating the victim. Again, he's on the north end of the stadium. All right. Any weapons on you like that? Go ahead. Oh, look here.
I know I'm not.
4-4, copy, I'll be around. Y'all back up a little bit. Come over here. Come over here. I'm going to put your handcuffs for now, okay? Dispatch 443. Everybody can slow down. I got the alleged suspect in handcuffs right now detained. You can open up the channel, and medics are clear to come in. Have them come to the northeast entrance. That's gonna be a gate that's wide open there, and then you come to the victim from there. This is the alleged suspect. Okay. Okay, there. So nothing on your person at all? Nothing? Mind if I reach in your pockets and stuff and all that? Stabbing them? Okay. Come on. A little personal there, okay? Just to make sure. Okay. All right. The victim's going to be underneath that tent over there, so I'll get medics. Memorial tent over there, guys. All right.
He put his hands on me. I told him not to put his hands on me.
What's happening right now? Victim, we're on the north end. They got staff standing to him right now. This is the alleged suspect. Already? No. We searched them. I don't know what happened.
413. Check the link. That's CPR progress for a little bit.
Breathing.
See that coughing?
Oh, my, sorry, up to you. It's up to you.
That's fine. This is closer.
Okay. Let me do one more little check of you, okay? You don't mind for reaching your pockets, anything like that? You good?
You're wearing one pair of pants?
I'm wearing some little underpants.
Oh, yeah.
No, ma'am, I don't think so.
What's your name, man?
Carmelo Anthony, K-A-R-M-E-L.
Have a seat here real quick, man. Watch your head. Let me check your hood here, buddy, okay? Yes, well, I'll tell you what, lean this way so you're not resting on your hands, okay? Yes. All right, see a little bit of blood on your hands there, okay? All right. So your first name is Carmelo? Let's see, hold on one second. I don't know yet, man. Carmelo, C-A-R-A. K-A-R-M-E-L-O. Carmelo, what's your last name? A-N-T-H. And why? Where are you in?
I'm in
10th grade? You go to Emerson? Where'd you go? Centennial. Okay.
I'm in 12th grade.
12th grade? Okay. No, Centennial. All right, sit tight for me real quick, bud, all right?
There is no up-close video of the stabbing of Austin Metcalf. There is only this angle of the confrontation. It is from a camera that was mounted on the top of the stadium where the meet took place, and the camera is pointed at the tent which belonged to Austin Metcalf's team. Carmelo's defense team argued at trial that Carmelo was invited under the tent, that he had a friend of his girlfriend who was on Austin Metcalf's team, and that friend had waved him over. Now, the state argued that Carmelo never should have been under an opposing team's tent and that he refused to leave when he was told to go, and that led to a confrontation and a shove that turned to murder. Join us now to talk more about the evidence that we're all now seeing on the outside for the first time is Cody Thomas from Court TV, who was in the courtroom for the entire trial of Carmelo Anthony. So here's the surveillance video, and you described it as like in I don't know directly the words, but it's like you can't really take a lot away from it because like you see the moment, you see some sort of scuffling, perhaps the shove inside of the tent. But to your point, I mean, it's not a lot when it comes to maybe what people were hoping they were going to see when they see this. Like, what stands out to you now that we're all kind of watching what you were describing in the courtroom?
Yeah. You remember what I described, Chris? I described it that same way.
I said what I said. I said what I said. His name Toby. I said what I said. I know how these people move. I've been watching media long enough to know how these motherfuckers move. All these black journalists that's on these TV shows like, Law and Crime and Court TV and WFFA, they loving this shit because they get more airtime than they've got in years. They're pulling out all the blacks. Yep, all the token blacks. They pulling them out.
You can tell that it's very zoomed in. It's over pixelated because, the camera's coming from across the football field. But of course, everyone has highlighted the moment, that everyone's, dissected it, and you see what is, assumed to be the shove. And you can see, again, the force of the shove. You see that it's a push. But other than that, you can't really, even in the courtroom, it was never specified because it was a big deal about who was standing, who was sitting, who was where, who was this and that. It was never really specified under the tent who was who. Of course, after the shove, you see immediately 2-3 seconds later, you see Carmelo, who is highlighted and spot shadowed, run, to the 3 or 4 or 5 bleachers up, which is also where the knife was found. That's where the knife was found, where they threw it and the body cam caught it up. But then you see him running away. But that's about the only, distinguished individual we see in that video. But of course, what stands out is just the moment itself, because the minutes leading up to the moment are just, people are just there. Just these humanoid figures under the tent. You see people walking by. There's not really much of a commotion happening outside of the shove. And even when you watch the moment of the shove, you don't really see too much going on outside of the shove itself. And then all of a sudden you see a bunch of dispersing and scattering because people are realizing, oh, somebody's been stabbed here. But again, the video had minimal things to take away outside of the moment itself.
Right. And I was surprised because I remember there was one witness near the end where the prosecution was able to kind of point them out and say, like, so this is where you were at that time. And it's like, I don't even know how they were able to do that because I feel like I'm just looking at pixels.
They was able to do that because they got video from right up under that tent, sir. That's why they was able to do that. Because right here, you can't do that. What we're being shown right here, you can't point out who is who. Y'all pointing out Carmelo, but that's about it. They ain't even pointing out Hunter. Austin. They ain't even saying that's definitely Austin that pushed him. The highlight ain't on him. The highlight is on Carmelo. The reason why the prosecutor was able to say, "Oh, you was right there, weren't you?" Yeah, because the prosecutor seen video of the shit up close. I stand on it. That they got video from what happened up under that tent from somebody that recorded this shit when it was going down. I stand on it. And I ain't seen it. Ain't nobody brought it out. We'll probably never see it. But I stand on it. Because there's no fucking way that somebody was able to come out that courtroom and say there was a photo presented into evidence of a medic working on Austin. If there was no video, no photos or nothing from anybody up under that tent, how the fuck did they get a photo of a medic working on Austin? How did they get it? Where did they get it from? Who took the picture? Who recorded it? Why wasn't that presented? Where's that? Why we only got a photo? See, they had to present that photo of a medic working on Austin to put on the heartstrings. That's pulling on the heartstrings. That's showing the jury, look, this is him being worked on. But where's the video, or where did it come from? If y'all only showing us this video from afar and saying that's the only video out there, where the fuck did you get that photo? That's all I'm saying. I stand on it. There's other footage or photos out there.
Like these little, and you understand that there's a ton of people under the tent. You see the colors of Austin Metcalf's school. It's about 7 minutes, 59 seconds in, like the shove happens. I will say you can take away from this kind of the force of the shove. Because it seems like, Metcalf, you see him kind of shove, and then there's a reaction from Carmelo, and then we'll talk about like what he does after. But I think that was something, I look at this and it wasn't, if you were someone who was, on the side of the defense, it feels like it's a shove. That's what it is. It doesn't seem like it's this aggressive punch or something like that. And
Nobody never said it was a punch, Opie. Nobody never said punch. Where you getting punched from? It's always been a shove. It's always been a push. But it don't matter. He put his hands on him. He put his hands on him. He had no right. Nobody said nothing about a punch. What the fuck? Wait a minute. So was Carmelo supposed to wait for Austin to beat him down or be in the process of beating him down before he defended himself? What was it? What was he supposed to do? All these motherfuckers gonna sit up here and say, and then these motherfuckers that I know sitting up here saying, oh, he pushed him, he should have just fought him. Fought him how? Austin is a giant over him. He's under a tent where Austin brother is right there and all of his other teammates are right there. What the fuck? The young man was scared. Period.
how do you remember that playing out in the courtroom, just that particular part and kind of the force and how it was described?
People just, there wasn't really much of a real reaction to it, because another thing I take away from this, the moment of the video, Chris, is that, the defense was saying, we've heard all through, the social media and the interviews with Carmelo's parents, is that he was like more or less being jumped by a collection of students, 3 to 4 students.
Who the fuck? What is Toby over here lying about now? Who put out that he was jumped? That being jumped shit didn't come out into the. You know what? I'm gonna let him talk.
There wasn't really much of a real reaction to it, because another thing I take away from this, the moment of the video, Chris, is that, the defense was saying, we've heard all through, the social media and the interviews with Carmelo's parents, is that he was like more or less being jumped by a collection of students, 3 to 4 students. The moment in the video,
I've never heard see, this is the lies. This is the lies. Mainstream media ain't shit. I've never heard Carmelo's parents say that he was jumped. I've never heard that. So unless he had a private interview, it's Trudy in here. Hey, Trudy. I'm sorry if I'm missing people that I fuck with, but there's so many trolls in here. I ain't even really watching the chat like that, but sort of, kind of. Yeah, keep Toby, bring us Kunta. You feel me, honey? Honey Locks, keep Toby, bring me Kunta. Feel me? But unless he had a private interview with these people and they said it to him, I've never heard Carmelo's parents say that he was jumped. I've never heard it. I never heard that. Where's he getting that from?
Was saying, we've heard to
kind of the force and how it was described.
People just.
Hold on, y'all. This is my daughter. I'll be right back. apologize, y'all. I'm back. I'm back for my true supporters. I'm back.
There wasn't really much of a real reaction to it because another thing I take away from this, the moment of the video, Chris, is that, the defense was saying, we've heard all through, the social media and the interviews of Carmelo's parents, is that he was like more or less being jumped by a collection of students.
Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate it. And shout out to my moderators. I probably gonna mod up. I'm watching, paying attention to who be in the chat. I probably gonna mod up a couple more people just for this content alone, because this shit is ridiculous. And I know y'all can't catch everybody, get everybody. It's cool. It's okay. You got people, like I said, you just gotta love everybody. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to my moderators. Thank y'all so much for the job y'all doing. I appreciate it. Shout out to my supporters. Hey, Air Boogie. And if anybody in here that I know truly support me that I miss speaking to, I apologize. It's just the chat moving so fast and I can't catch everybody. But thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it. For those that truly support this content, double tap the screen, like the live stream, share it out. 100 likes, they gonna stay, man, fucking with me. I'm just saying. Thank you, Natasha. Feel free to support the channel. My Cash App is going across the screen. It's also pinned at the bottom. So anybody want to support the channel, Cash App, PayPal. But if anything, just make sure you double tap the screen to like the live stream. I appreciate it. All right. Let's get back into it, y'all. Shout out to my moderators. Shout out to my true supporters. I appreciate y'all.
3 to 4 students. The moment in the video doesn't really depict that in any specificity. Of course, again, very pixelated, very, not as quality as we would have liked it to be, but you don't see that at all, because that, to me, that would be a lot more commotion going on. But as far as in the courtroom, the video is shown, and it's kind of like you and I watching it here. It wasn't much of a, I was expecting cell phone video. All these teenagers had their phones out, and you're going to see something.
Oh, Toby, you said something right there, Toby. Come on, Toby. You're trying to turn into Kunta. Because anybody with good sense know that there got to be some type of cell phone video of this shit. You can't make me believe otherwise. You cannot make me believe otherwise. There is some cell phone footage, video, photo, or whatever from up under that tent. I stand on that shit. Listen to what Toby saying, trying to turn into Kunta. Listen.
Jumped by a collection of students, 3 to 4 students. The moment in the video doesn't really depict that in any specificity. Of course, again, very pixelated, very, not as quality as we would have liked it to be, but you don't see that at all, because that, to me, that would be a lot more commotion going on. But as far as in the courtroom, the video is shown, and it's kind of like you and I watching it here. It wasn't much of a, I was expecting cell phone video, all these teenagers with their phones out, and you're going to see something really graphic, up close and personal, great quality, lots of yelling. And now we have this silent video that looks like it was filmed at a Quick Trip. So it was like people saw the moment, but
this man right here giving credence to what people saying. Now, I'm not one to entertain that video was edited. Whether I believe it or not, I'm going to keep to myself. Is the commentary now between with people is saying that this video was edited. I'm not going to say whether we know it was edited because it went from this shot to that shot to that shot. But a lot of people saying that video was manipulated. I'm going to hold my opinion to myself. And I'm just going to sit back and watch it all play out. But even this dude right here is saying, it looked like it was recorded at a what? A what? Let's listen to what he's now Kunta. Let's see what he's
in the courtroom. The video was shown, and it's kind of like you and I watching it here. It wasn't much of a, I was expecting cell phone video. All these teenagers have their phones out, and you're going to see something really graphic, up close and personal, great quality, lots of yelling. And now we have this silent video that looks like it was filmed at a Quick Trip. So it was like people saw the moment, but there was no shocking, no gasp. It was just, here it is. And the prosecution even prefaced before they played it, like 2 minutes before they played it, hey, you're not going to be able to see much here. This is why we have this forensic video analyst to kind of talk to us about how he identified who, and the other different angles of coming in the gates. And we saw Carmelo in a lighter colored hoodie and Austin in these colored shoes. Like, he walked through all that before you got to the moment, because if there was none of that, you would know who you were looking at, right? I mean, you could probably make an assumption based after the moment who's running away and whatever else, but everything leading up to that, you wouldn't know anything.
No, and even looking at the shove now, as you're talking, I'm kind of like just on the final kind of 5 seconds leading up to it, and then you see it, and it's like there's not really from who I can see as Austin Metcalf, it's like there's not a lot of separation between the two. It's not like a shove where Carmelo almost like falls backwards even. Yeah. And like if Austin came out, like it literally is like they're not separated at all. It seems like he had him the entire time. I do think, and there were some questions, I think Carmelo Anthony's parents brought it up, where it's like there's so much, it seems like some of the testimony perhaps varied when it comes to how strong the shove was, this and that. And like, you do take away where it's like, this was almost a year ago, more than a year ago, that all of this happened. And it's so bang, bang, where it's like to remember that moment over and over and over again. I mean,
all right, shut the fuck up. The truth don't change. The truth don't change. And I don't give a fuck if it was last year, 2 years ago, or yesterday. The truth don't change. Those teenagers and those stories that didn't add up, didn't match up, bullshit. Bullshit. The truth is the truth. When it's the truth and it happened the way it happened, there's no switching it up unless you're lying. Truth don't change. I don't give a fuck who saw it. And then y'all want to talk about how hard the shove was. It don't matter. He put his hands on that young man. He shouldn't have put his hands on that young man. Ain't nobody saying that. Am I saying that Austin deserved to die? No. No. But just like y'all saying when it comes to Jeff Metcalf coming out here on a racist rant, you can't tell nobody how to grieve. You can't tell nobody how to fight back. You can't tell that young man how to defend himself. If he chose to stick him instead of fight him, that's what he chose. Was it the right decision? I'm not saying it was. All I'm saying is you can't use that notion for one person and not the next. You say, don't tell Jeff Metcalf how to grieve. Don't tell him how to act. You can't tell somebody how to fight. He's fighting back. He's fighting for his son. You can't tell him how to fight back. Well, you can't tell Carmelo how to fight back when a motherfucker put his hand. See, that's the thing. People don't get it. They don't understand. You can't invade my personal space. Don't put your hands on me. Don't put your hands on me. I'm not your child. You're not my parent. Don't put your hand on me. And I still say, Austin does not deserve to be dead. It shouldn't have happened. And I still say Carmelo did not mean to unalive Austin. The young man said it right after he felt like he was defending himself. People don't want to talk about the reputation of those brothers because the people don't want to talk about the deceased and what he may have taken part of or being in his life. But the truth is the truth. You got to talk about it all. You got to talk about it all. You got to talk about the fact that these boys were known to bully in that motherfucking school. And please don't tell me that Carmelo didn't go to the school, so Carmelo didn't know. Bullshit. Bullshit. When you have a reputation, you have a reputation. And let's just say, even if he did know their reputation, two big ass motherfuckers standing in front of me, along with 4 other motherfuckers, and y'all surrounding me. Man, come on, bro. That's all I'm saying. Fight who? Fight who? The young man was scared. He was scared. He was being intimidated. He felt intimidated. He felt scared, and he did what he did.
Especially when there's not a lot of video, which is surprising because you would think since they were alleged to kind of have been going back and forth, nobody took out a camera phone, which seems to happen a lot. I was surprised.
I was sitting up here making my case. Nobody took out a camera phone. Yes, they did. They took out a camera. Yes, they did. That's why they got that. That's why they got that image of the man that's working on, because somebody filmed it. Somebody filmed it.
Moment over and over and over again. I mean, especially when there's not a lot of video, which is surprising because you would think since they were alleged to kind of have been going back and forth, nobody took out a camera phone, which seems to happen a lot. I was surprised, like just how quickly it happened and then the force itself. We do see as the video continues on, you can see Carmelo Anthony. He leaves the tent. He goes up the bleachers. And then I'm just playing it here and he's kind of like running down the bleachers a little bit. You see someone kind of going after him and then running back to the tent, and then Carmelo runs his way from the bleachers where eventually it seems like he comes in contact with an adult, with a few people who are following him. How do you remember that part of the story being told and what we're looking at as we see him in this spot shadow kind of running from the bleachers out of the area where all of this took place?
So, you know, you have the perspective of the prosecutor, you have the perspective of the defense attorney, then you have the perspective of the students who were there. So prosecutor is obviously saying, he's done this heinous thing. He's conscious of what he's done, no guilty. He's running away, trying to get away and be anywhere but there because he's running and then he stops and he walks a little bit. So they were trying to go along with, he's just trying to blend in like nothing happened. That's where the prosecution was going. The witnesses, the student witnesses, were kind of echoing the same thing, but some of them testified to how you mentioned someone was running after him and they turned back around, but then you see 2 or 3 more going after him, continuing not to go after him. You don't see them, getting a physical altercation. More so, you see them pointing out like, that's him, and that's what they were saying on the stand. Yeah. And then the defense is saying, he ran away, he was scared of what he just done, but their whole, key point of the whole situation is that he had opportunity to run out of the stadium and really run away, but he stayed in the stadium, he ran to the track, found an adult, and stayed there. So trying to paint, his character as like, he realized what he done, but not in like a
dispute what we saw. We saw him running away. Of course he ran away, but he was not trying to get away. He was not trying to get away. Like I said, he was scared. He was scared. And you did see people chasing after him. Whether they was pointing him out or whatever, he didn't know what the fuck. He knew he was being chased. And him running lets you know he was scared. Exactly, Honey Locks. We're gonna have whole live streams talking about that lawyer, that DA and that judge. We're gonna go over the paperwork of that lawsuit. Yeah, we are.
This way, if I should say. But the thing about it, like when you pointed that moment where he runs to an adult, that coach took the stand as well as another coach who was in the vicinity because there was this woman, the female coach, and both these coaches, all these coaches are from different schools. There's a female coach from some different high school. The name of the high school is lost upon me right now. But anyway, she was testifying that, she saw a lot of commotion going on, a lot of yelling over where the tent was, right? And then you see those students running out and they're like, Mrs. So-and-so, it's him, he stabbed somebody, it's him. And she's like, what's going on? And then as they're saying that, Carmelo's walking past her, jogging past, and then she looks to the adult, the coach that, finally embraces him and goes to walking with him around the track. She looks at him like, hey, they're saying he stabbed somebody, don't let him leave. That's when that coach kind of like put his arm around him, not like an aggressive way, just like, hey, son, come here. What are they saying you've done? What have you done? And that's when, as we were talking before a few weeks ago, how that coach is like, hey, what you done? Hey, he put his hands on me. I told him not to. Well, if that kid dies, your life changes here forever today. Carmelo's like, oh, he's not going to die. And the coach is like, okay, but if he does, and that's when that coach said he started crying and everything like that. So you had those 3 different narratives from prosecutor, the student witnesses, and the defense attorney inside that courtroom, all kind of echoing the same action, but different sentiments, like as to reasonings as to why he was running.
Yeah, and it's like 1 minute after the stabbing takes place, it's like he's at the exit to the track, it seems, and then he turns around, and then he's talking with someone who I think is the adult, and it seems like people are just...
because truth be told, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. That boy can run. And if he actually wanted to run away from that, he could have. He ran, he stopped, he started back, and he was at the exit. He could have kept... If he was trying to get away, he could have got away running. He may not have gotten far, whatever, I don't know. But if he was running away to get away, he would have been gone. Period.
Starting to understand like what happened over on the bleachers.
He didn't even have the adults that stopped him, the lady coach and the other coach. If he was trying to get away, he didn't even have to stop for them. He could have kept running. And then you hear what he said. When he was caught, he admitted it. If he was trying to get away, why would he admit it? Come on, bro. You got to think.
Walking by himself, and then you see another coach come up. So it is something where, and that's what made this case, I think, really difficult for the defense and to an extent the prosecution as well. It's like we just don't have anything up close other than the aftermath. And we'll talk about the body cam video and what that shows here in a moment. Going through these images, because again, I hadn't seen them until they were released. You had seen them before, and we had talked about Eddie.
I don't know why people are saying, I guess people just gonna say what they're gonna say. That is a knife, y'all. It may be a small knife, but it's a knife. Now, is it a knife that he had as a tool? Could be. Could be a knife that he used as a tool. He could have used the knife as a tool, but that's definitely a knife. People won't say, oh, it was this and that and the third. Yeah, it could be, this and that. He could have used it for his cleats. He could have used it for, other things. But it's still a knife. That's a knife. It's got a blade, pointed, it's a knife. It's a small knife. You know what I'm saying? It could be a knife. You could see, here in the South, men carry pocket knives for different reasons. Here in the South, a grown man, it's liable that if for out of 100, you're gonna find 95 of them carrying a knife. But if they wanted to defend themselves, they ain't gonna use that knife. Most likely they gonna pull a gun. Because they got a gun. They use knife for different reasons. My Tony had a pocket knife on his keychain that he used to multiple reasons. But if he ever felt like he had to defend himself, that knife he wasn't gonna pull out that knife. He was gonna pull out something else. But it is a knife. Now, whether or not and see, that's another reason why Carmelo should have got on this stand to even explain why he had the knife. Because I don't think he had the knife intended on killing anyone. No, I don't. But he was not even given the chance to get on the stand to explain why he had the knife or what he used the knife for. Period.
Was this teammate of Austin Metcalf, was, at the time when the state was questioning him, strong prosecution witness, someone who was very close with Austin Metcalf. And if I remember correctly, he kind of backed off saying that he knew Carmelo Anthony at all. And like some points for the defense, if you want to say that, was that they were arguing that he was invited into the tent, Carmelo Anthony, because Eddie waved him over. And to prove that they had some sort of relationship, the defense presented these pictures of Eddie and Carmelo. And I was not anticipating them to look as friendly as they do in these images, where it does raise some questions as to why he wasn't more straightforward, it seems, in that moment that he knew.
Now, see, the truth is the truth. They speaking it, y'all. The lies about the friend.
At the time when the state was questioning him, strong prosecution witness, someone who was very close with Austin Metcalf. And if I remember correctly, he kind of backed off saying that he knew Carmelo Anthony at all. And like some points for the defense, if you want to say that, was that they were arguing that he was invited into the tent, Carmelo Anthony, because Eddie waved him over. And to prove that they had some sort of relationship, the defense presented these pictures of Eddie and Carmelo. And I was not anticipating them to look as friendly as they do in these images, where it does raise some questions as to why he wasn't more straightforward, it seems, in that moment that he knew Carmelo Anthony through his girlfriend and they had hung out before. I mean, there's a picture here of them playing Guitar Hero together, which was not something that I was anticipating just based off what he had told the jury when the state was questioning.
Yeah, and that was a huge moment for the defense because now it's a credibility.
For the person that emailed me that, you in the chat, I don't know why you typed in the chat, but I don't know if you want me to say who you are. But you said, Carmelo, is it true? Oh, Melissa, yeah. So, Melissa, it's true that he had epilepsy. Do you not remember when we reacted to the interview? And I can go back to it if you want me to. I can play it. The mom and the dad, the interview they did with the Breakfast Club. In fact, remind me, Melissa, and I do it at the end, just for you. The interview that the mom and the dad did with the Breakfast Club, they talked about he had epilepsy. And remember, they talked about they was waiting on him to call them. Remember, he had just gotten to the prison and they was waiting on him to call because they had to go up there. He had a seizure. You don't remember that? He actually had a seizure once he got to the prison. They had to take his medication up there to the prison. Does anybody remember us reacting to that? And remember, in the middle of the interview, they was talking and they got a call and they was like, this is him, and they ended it. Yeah, he had epilepsy. He had seizures. Yep, and he did have an injury to his arm and was still under the care of a physical therapist. Yes, he did, Melissa. He had epilepsy and he had seizures. Yeah. So you're right. You did hear that.
Issue, right? He's on there. We heard about Eddie in the opening statements from the defense. He was under there to see his friend Eddie. So everyone's awaiting this Eddie Parra kid. Who's this? Why? What does he have to say? And of course, the question is, if this is your boy, this is your friend, he's getting into an altercation under the tent. Why aren't you standing up and hey, everyone chill? It's my guy. Like, we'll get out of here, whatever. So that was a question, just circulating in my mind. So he gets up there and he's testifying for the state, which was already interesting enough to me because the defense made a big deal about him. I expected him to be a defense witness, and then the state calls him. And then he pretty much gets up there and says, like, yeah, I knew Carmelo, but we weren't close. I wouldn't say we were great friends. Going along with his state's testimony. Then the pictures you're talking about, the defense is like, oh, not good friends. Here's 10 pictures that pretty much show otherwise. The Guitar Hero picture, the picture where they're making goofy faces. They're at Eddie's house for Eddie's grandmother's birthday. All this different stuff. So it's like, we're not trying to assume anything, but is Eddie lying? Again, the credibility issue. But the thing about it is, Chris, if Eddie's credibility is not good, does that affect the actual moment of what happened? Okay, Eddie, maybe, let's just theoretically, Eddie's not telling the truth. He's just saying whatever he wants to say. does that have a direct correlation to what happened with the stabbing? And that, I mean, I guess that was for the jury to decide, and clearly they didn't think so, you know, one way or the other. I mean, they sent him away for 35 years. But that was still a big issue there when the defense said, hey, we have the receipts. I don't know what you're talking about up here, but you grew up with this girl. She's dating this guy. Here's pictures of you guys together. There's other witness testimony, states witnesses that say y'all were, you know, not like buddy, but like, yeah, he went over to Eddie and, you know, they kept saying dapped him up. Just like, you know, a good handshake between the boys. Yeah. So you had testimony about you sitting next to Eddie, and one kid said he switched seats with Eddie and all that stuff. So it was a very confusing time with Eddie's time on the stand, because you heard all these different things, and then the challenge by the defense there. So it was like,
Toby, it wasn't confusing. He was lying. It wasn't no confusion. He was lying. He was lying, just like the other witnesses were lying. That's why the stories didn't match up. We're not gonna do that. It wasn't no confusion. It was lies. If he got up there and said, "Oh, we weren't like that for real," I mean, you know, I knew him. He knew me, but we weren't like that. And then you get photos of these young men being in each other's presence and around family members and things of that nature. He was lying. Why you can't just say he was lying? Why you can't say it? Yes, what's your name, son? Trey Robinson. Yeah, my moms don't play. They don't play. They don't. I'm just saying, exactly, Tanya. Exactly. Come on now. He was lying.
what's Eddie saying? What's the truth here?
100%, because I think when you look at these pictures, you're like, these people would be not just like friendly, but it seems like they hung out, like the girlfriend's not even in these pictures, and, and like they're hanging out. You do wonder, and apparently for the jury, they felt this way. It's like, okay, so even if he was invited under the tent, whether he shouldn't have been in the tent or should have been in the tent, like the jury apparently didn't really think that really mattered, where the defense seemed to argue like, look, Carmelo.
Of course they didn't think it mattered. Just like they didn't think it mattered that those guys approached him. They didn't think it mattered that Austin put his hands on him. They don't think none of that matter. All they know is that this black kid unalived this white kid, and he got to go. Period. A lot of stuff didn't matter. That's why a lot of stuff wasn't entered into evidence. That's why a lot of shit wasn't considered. That's the fucked up part about it. All of that should have mattered. The fact that Eddie lied, it should have mattered. It should have mattered.
Anthony was invited into this tent, whether or not like track culture or anything like that matters. And then he's, the defense would argue he was the victim. Austin provoked it. Austin shouldn't have put his hands on Carmelo Anthony and all of this. Of course, when you respond with
and that's another thing they tried to do. That's another thing they try to do is spin it and say Carmelo provoked an altercation for two reasons. He provoked it because he went up under the tent, shouldn't have been up under the tent. And he also provoked it when he told this young man, don't put your hands on me, after he had put his hands on him. He said, don't put your hands on me again. So that provoked Austin to do it. What the fuck? No, if somebody tell you not to put their hands on you, then you don't do it. That's not provoking a person to put their hands on you. That's telling you don't put your hands on me. So they tried to spin it to make it seem like Carmelo provoked it. No. The provocation came in when they approached him and tried to make this young man leave from up under that motherfucking tent. All them adults, all them coaches, the resource officer that was around, right? If they felt like Carmelo was under that tent and it was against some kind of code or school policy, and our coach told us, don't let nobody up under our tent because that's our stuff up under there, this and the third. Why the fuck did y'all not take y'all child aid, because they were children, and go get an adult to get Carmelo removed? If you felt like he shouldn't have been up under there and it was against everything sportsmanship like, why the fuck didn't you go get a coach? Why the fuck didn't you go get the resource officer? Instead of taking it upon yourself. Why? Because they were bullies. This is what they did. Period. Ain't nobody talking about that, though. Ain't nobody talking about that.
Of course, using a knife, that's something where you just wonder, how strong of, this gotcha moment on this witness actually mattered at the end of the day. Speaking of the knife, we have seen it now for the first time. And I'll say, like, this isn't, it's a pocket knife, but it's not like a Swiss Army knife that you would use. I know we talked about, like, oh, maybe he likes going camping, and they could argue that. I mean, this is I'm not a knife owner myself of something like this.
About it, but
right, this is not like a Boy Scout Swiss Army knife that you would have on a keychain back in the day. And I just wonder how much, when this was shown to the jury, does that, because it comes off as an intimidating knife. When you look at it.
And so we didn't see the knife used in the act. We saw an exact replica. Like, so the evidence knife.
I don't understand that. I don't understand why they didn't have the knife itself. There's talk going around, and this is weird to me. And I haven't seen it. I'm looking at this knife, and I'm okay. So there's some talk going around that the alleged knife that was actually used. Now, I don't know how these people would know this, because they saying these people showed a replica of the knife, not the actual knife itself, which I don't understand. If you retrieved the knife from the crime scene and it was entered into evidence, why the fuck are you showing a replica in court? Where's the actual knife? It's the same motherfucking argument I got in the Cyrus Carmack case. Where is the fucking gun? So if Carmelo dropped the knife on the bleachers and that knife was retrieved and entered into evidence, where is it? Why are you not showing that knife in court? Where is the knife? Why are you presenting a replica of the knife? Now, let me tell you what the talk is. And the reason why I don't really entertain the talk, I'm just going to mention it. I'm just going to mention it to put it out here. There's talk that the actual knife that they retrieved on them bleachers had the letter M on it. And that's all I'm going to say. Because until I see some type of evidence or actually see that knife with the letter M on it, I'm not going to entertain it. But that's what's being said. But I will say this. It has to be a reason why the actual knife that was used was not entered into evidence. The fuck you mean you gonna not enter the knife that I actually used, but you gonna enter a replica? Where they do that at? I've followed many trials. I've never seen that happen. Ever. Not even when they didn't have the actual murder weapon. I've never seen them present a replica. That's weird as fuck. Keep it cute? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I guess they have that at wherever they have it at, stored at the police station.
This is not like a
You
Boy
said
Scout.
I guess they got the knife wherever they have it at. Which don't make sense at fucking all. If you on trial, if you conducting a trial and you saying this young man used this knife to unalive this other young man, what the fuck you mean they got it where they got it at? Why it ain't in the courtroom? Why it ain't in the courtroom with the rest of the evidence? What the hell are we doing here? None of this shit makes sense, y'all. And I don't give a fuck how anybody feel about what's going on. A lot of shit that has gone on with this case does not make sense. It does not make sense. And if Carmelo is guilty and the evidence points towards him being guilty, present the evidence, not the lies. Don't cover shit up. Don't lie. Don't manipulate shit. Don't alter shit. Don't edit shit. Come on now.
How strong of, this gotcha moment on this witness actually mattered at the end of the day. Speaking of the knife, we have seen it now for the first time. And I'll say, like, this isn't, it's a pocket knife, but it's not like a Swiss Army knife that you would use. I know we
see these pictures right here show, if you look, that look like the picture they took while the knife was still on the bleachers. Do y'all not see? Listen. Watch.
On this witness actually mattered at the end.
What do you think that knife is right there in that picture? Where do you think that knife right there is located in that picture? Where does it look? Does it look like a replica that they... Now, I saw pictures where it looked like a replica, but that's the actual knife right there. Because if you look at it, that knife is on them dirty bleachers. Look at it. So they got the actual knife. Why wasn't it presented? Why they had a replica? And I'm going to say this one more time before I move on. There's talk about the town that the actual knife had an M on it. And I'm going to say this too. Hey, Mimi. Hunter and Austin were hunters. They hunted. They had guns. They had knives. That's all I'm going to say. Why was the actual knife not there in the courtroom? Could be Infamello. Could be Infametcalf. Could be Infamello. Could be Infametcalf. Don't know. Don't know. I will say this, though. I will say this.
The day, speaking of...
I will say this, though. If y'all look closely, unless I'm missing it, because I don't have my glasses on, but it don't look like no blood is on this knife right here. If there were going to be blood on that knife right there, there would be, I know it would be at the tip of the knife. Do anybody see any blood? Does anybody see any blood? I'm just asking because I like to verify what I'm looking at. The tip of that knife allegedly went into Austin's heart, his chest. Where's the blood? If this is the knife that Carmelo dropped on the bleachers, where is the fucking blood? Where's the... Man, look. Where the blood at? Now, we do know it was raining, right? I gotta be fair. We do know it was raining. But that knife don't even look wet. What the fuck? Let's just say the rain washed the blood away. That knife don't even look wet to me. I'm just saying.
The knife, we have seen it now for the first time, and I'll say, like, this isn't, it's a pocket knife, but it's not like a Swiss Army knife that you would use. I know we talked about, like, oh, maybe he likes going camping, and they could argue that. I mean, this is I'm not a knife owner myself.
Look, that's on the bleachers. That's on the bleachers. And to be honest, I'm gonna just say this: looking at it like that, if you look closely, it looked like it may be blood up under it. Maybe the blood washed away. I don't know, because it was raining. But if you look up under that knife, you could say there's blood up under there, but you can't say it for sure. Only them people know for sure what it is. But I still have to ask the question: why wasn't a knife in the courtroom? Why wasn't it in the courtroom? That's it, and that's all.
Something like this,
about it, but
right, this is not like a Boy Scout Swiss Army knife that you would have on a keychain back in the day, and I just wonder how much when this was.
See, this is the replica I think that they showed in the courtroom. I think
shown to the jury, does that, because it comes off as an intimidating knife? When you look at
it. And so we didn't see the knife used in the act. We saw an exact replica. Like, so the evidence knife, I guess they have that at wherever they have it at, stored at the police station or wherever, but we saw an exact replica of it, and they were doing demonstrations, and so they saw a picture of the knife used, obviously, and you saw the body cam of the police saying, hey, they're still...
Why wasn't that knife in the courtroom, people? Why wasn't the actual knife in the courtroom? Can somebody please, honestly, tell me why? Because this whole theory that I didn't want to believe about the M being on the knife and this and that and the third, it's just starting to make sense. Like, can somebody please tell me why they had to use a replica? If they got the exact knife that was used in the crime, why wasn't that knife presented at trial? Because, see, at this point, you know how they say no murder weapon, no case, or no murder weapon? At this point, from inside that courtroom, there was no murder weapon. Because you didn't have the actual murder weapon now. You had a replica. Who does that? I've never, ever, 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 in all the cases that I've watched, real or fake, that they use a replica of anything. Either it's the real deal or it's nothing. So why in the fuck did they have a replica of the knife and not the actual knife in the courtroom? I've seen these people pull out. Listen, one case I seen, one trial I watched in real motherfucking life. A person was unalive in their bed. Stabbed to death in their bed. They had a whole mattress in the motherfucking courtroom. They had a bloody mattress in the courtroom as evidence, y'all. They pulled that shit out in the courtroom. A bloody mattress. So you mean to tell me a little bloody knife that was used in this act wasn't presented in the courtroom? I'm gonna get off of that. Ain't nobody can't tell me nothing.
Blood and bone fragments on this knife, you know, when they saw it in the bleachers, because, you know, there was that rumor around that it was a cleat tool that he stabbed him with. And so that was swiftly debunked inside the courtroom. No, this knife is on body cam. Here it is on pictures with blood still kind of on it. Anyway, when they brought the replica knife up, they had...
Where you saw the blood at, Toby? You done went back to Toby.
It got brought up during an officer's testimony. And so the prosecutor and the officer got in front of the jury box, right in front of the jury, you know, feet away. They could reach out and touch them, just showing the knife how you can, you know, thumb stopper, you can flip it up with one hand if you wanted to, because that was another thing about the speed at which this stabbing happened. You know, some kids said they turned away, they looked back, and now Austin's on the ground with a hole in his chest. It was just so fast. But one thing that I took away from that testimony from this officer is when they were doing the demonstration, it kind of, if you weren't listening, you might not have caught it, right? The prosecutor asked them, "Oh yeah, heavy duty knife? Yes, sir. This is the kind you kind of carry when you're on duty. Oh yeah, we use this for cutting seatbelts and things like that." It was just a real quick moment. It wasn't like a real emphasized moment, but I was like, maybe he was asking that to show, like, this is a sharp knife. I mean, you know how thick a seatbelt can be when you're cutting people out of car crashes and things like that. And, you know, I'm pretty sure the point was to show, like, hey, but, you know, on-duty officers carry knives like this. This might not be the most casual knife. Now, again, clearly you can buy this knife probably in your local Walmart or anything like that. It's not like you have to go on and be, you know, a Marine veteran to get this knife. But just showing that it's not, like, to your point, not some little Boy Scout knife, you know, the little red cylinder with the little flip out, maybe have some scissors and a corkscrew in there. You know, this was a real knife here.
Well, and it kind of goes to one of the questions that I think we talked about not really being answered, because it's like, this is not an illegal knife we've learned to have in Texas. It's against school policy, but it's not illegal with the length of which, you know, how long it is.
I'm glad he said that, because I'm so sick of people talking about it was illegal for him to have a knife. And I've been arguing the law versus policy since I've been talking about this damn knife and having it at that track meet. And some ignorant motherfuckers keep saying that it was illegal for him to have the knife. If it was illegal for him to have a knife, no, it was not illegal for him to have a knife. It was against school policy for him to have the knife on school property. Policy is not a law. A lot of people look at policy as law, but it's a difference between policy and law, because you violate policy, you get suspended. You violate the law, you go to damn jail. So there's a distinct difference between policy and law. I don't know why people don't get that, but hey, I can't deal with the ignorance, honey locks. I just can't. It was not illegal for him to have the knife, but it was against school policy for him to have it at that track meet. Two different things. Two different things.
For him to have it. But when you look at it, the question that comes to your mind is, why would you bring this to a track meet? And that's still, even if that's not something where, like, look, he wasn't charged with any weapons offenses, but it just didn't seem like that was really answered. And like, if you know, just to kind of do that, if I was in the jury, like when you look,
it wasn't answered. Only Carmelo can answer that, and his whack ass defense didn't put him on.
a knife like this, you're like, why would you bring that to a track meet beyond the fact that that question was already being asked in the first place? And the other part too, wasn't it argued that he already had this open in his backpack? What was that? I'm trying to remember.
I know, Melissa. That was it wasn't, specified because no one really knows. But to the point I was making just a second ago, the speed at which the stab happened, they were pretty much saying, some of these student witnesses and the prosecution, of course, was compounding upon it, was that, the whole touch me and see what happens. His hands in the bag for, however
Can
many
you hear
seconds
me now?
before everything went down.
Okay.
They're trying to say that put his hand on the knife, opened it while it was in the bag. So once whatever he felt was going to happen, the knife was ready to go. Right. That wasn't, proven, as a fact. Obviously, the defense was saying, oh, it was just a warning and this and that. But the speed at which people were saying this happened, like in the blink of an eye, they didn't even realize, like even the people who were watching what happened, Austin shoves, whatever happened in 2 seconds, they did not realize Austin was stabbed until he lifted his shirt and blood's everywhere. So that was the whole argument there. Like this knife had to have been opened when it was in the bag. And that was the point of when they were doing the demonstration with the cop, showing, because he's holding the bag with one hand's in the bag, that you could flip it open with one hand, like with ease. You didn't have to take two hands to open it up and then, assume whatever position you're going to assume with it. So that was the whole discussion about that. But again, there was no definitive evidence saying, hey, this knife was opened.
And then just lastly, the body cam video. And we see the video that's been released, the body cam. You have the officer who was the first one to interact with Carmelo Anthony. And then there's another 17-second clip that shows the moment, infamous moment, if you will, that was definitely shocking to read in police documents when he says, I'm not alleged I did it, something along those lines. You hear him say that for the first time. It was surprising, I don't know, shocking. I mean, you think of the emotional moment, the coach who said, well, if he dies, you're going to change your life forever. And it's like, there's moments where Carmelo Anthony is so calm to the point where he can say, it's not just I'm not alleged. He says, hey, I know how this goes. I'm not alleged. I did it. But then as he get cuffs, there's like this shot of emotion and you hear him in this like kind of weeping voice. But then like within 15 seconds, he's saying his name very calmly to the police. It was just, again, he's probably in shock with kind of realizing what was happening in that moment. But it was just, it's just, I don't know, what was your reaction when you saw that for the first time and just emotionally how he was in those moments?
Yeah, it was kind of a stark dichotomy, Chris, because, he's been painted out to be by the prosecution, this murderer, right? This kid who he had a knife here. He intended to do these things. He went over provoking a fight to use this knife. And so when they play this body cam, and we'd heard about the I'm not alleged I did it thing, but when I heard the crying part, when his voice is shaking and he clearly sounds like he's emotional. When I heard that, I was like, oh, maybe there is, this heavy remorse here. He's made the worst mistake you could possibly make on this green earth.
There was remorse, but his daddy get out here and other people get out here and say that he's this vicious murderer and there was no remorse and no this and that and the third. But you can't change facts. Like you can clearly hear it in that body cam footage, clearly. And the fact that he said, "Oh, he's not gonna die," he didn't even know the magnitude of what he had done because he didn't intend to kill that young man. God rest his soul.
Like he's emotional. When I heard that, I was like, oh, maybe there is, this heavy remorse here. He's made the worst mistake you could possibly make on this green earth. But at the same time, it's like it was a weird like sensation because you've heard all this other stuff, and then it's like, wait, he has a little bit of emotion about it. But to your point again, 15 seconds later, he's like, oh yeah, my name's this. He's spelling his name out. I go to Centennial High School. Everything's fine and whatever. So it was like, of course, people process things differently, right? I mean, you've just stabbed somebody. Unbeknownst to him at the time, he didn't know it was to death, but you just stabbed somebody at 17 years old. So I imagine the mental gymnastics going on with that. But hearing that crying was I don't know if shocking is the right word, but I didn't expect it. And the court, I'm looking around when hearing that, the jury's kind of looking at each other, and because you hadn't heard anything about that, and the fact that he's sitting there, he was kind of emotionless throughout the entire trial, of course, so the verdict came down. But hearing that emotion, but then the prosecution harped on, was it performative in the moment because a few seconds later, you're all, everything's fine, not fine, but everything's mellow, everything's calm given the circumstances. So again, just a stark contrast here when you heard that, and then a few seconds later, yeah, I'm not alleged I did it. Everything's cool. This is my age. I go to this school. Blah blah blah. Just a weird difference there.
It is, yeah. That's a good way to describe it because it was just as you watch all this, you're also realizing like this is Austin Metcalf's final moments, and this is Carmelo Anthony as a free person. And I know he was out on bond, but now 35 years. If he serves the full sentence, he'll be out in his mid 50s. And just to kind of see all of it now and put it together, it was a lot to take in. Cody Thomas from Court TV, great job covering this trial. Thank you as always for joining us. We appreciate it.
And as always,
all right, let's see if we got anything else. I know I added some stuff, but I don't know if it actually added. Nah, that was Law and Crime Network. Let's see what Court TV puts it. Let's see how they put it. Let's talk. Let's see.
It was the trial in verdict that divided the community, a case where different people. It was the trial and verdict that divided the community, a case where different people looked at the same evidence and came to different conclusions. Austin Metcalf was a high school athlete at a track meet, sitting under his Memorial High School tent with his twin brother and teammates. Carmelo Anthony was a student athlete from a different high school who went under that Memorial High School tent and was asked to leave. That's when things escalated. Witnesses testified that Carmelo refused to leave and told Austin, "Touch me and see what happens." Austin did touch Carmelo, and what happened next ended one teenage life and has another teenager locked up in prison, convicted of murder. Witnesses described what happened, but now, for the first time, we are seeing the actual surveillance video. What does it reveal? We also have the body cam video from that day when Carmelo Anthony is first approached by police.
I got the alleged suspect in handcuffs right now detained.
And now we will take a first-hand look at the evidence and ask, was justice served? This is a trial the public did not see. Cameras and microphones kept out of the courtroom, so we never got to hear the testimony of the witnesses. But now, the evidence which had been sealed has been unsealed, and we're going to take a look at it with Cody Thomas, who was inside the courtroom for this trial, as we try to figure out, was justice served?
Is
I'm
this
Benny
the
Pollard.
same dude?
Let's investigate.
Hold on. Look.
The Carmelo Anthony case, investigation, trial, verdict, all of it still reverberating around the country. And a lot of it because there were no cameras inside the courtroom. There were no microphones inside the courtroom. So we had a super divisive, high-profile case with an invested community, a divided community, and no one got to see it except those who got inside the courtroom. So people are debating the case, they're debating the verdict without even listening to the testimony or seeing the evidence. This is a strange place we're in. Carmelo Anthony was convicted of murder. We know that. We know what the jury said. We know the results of all this. But the results have put us in a place where
Still even call bullshit, and a lot of people ain't talking about it, which is cool because, you know, people talk about what they tend to talk about. I still call bullshit as to why there wasn't cameras allowed in the courtroom. Now, you got the judge that said in one breath it was because he said in the interview, this is his words, not mine. He said one reason why he said he didn't have cameras in the courtroom is because of the underage witnesses, which I said, and I stand on it. I've seen court cases where I seen a young man testify who was 8 years old, and there were cameras in the courtroom, and they just didn't show him. I've seen several trials take place where they didn't show witnesses at all. The cameras were in the courtroom, but the cameras were instructed to be turned away from the witnesses, right? So his thing is, so the first thing he said was, you know, no cameras in the courtroom because of the underage witnesses. And then later on in the interview, he said lawyers and judges and this and that and the third, they tend to act differently when there's cameras in the courtroom, which is bullshit. But I still call bullshit on the fact that there was not cameras in that courtroom for a main reason. That man knew exactly what he was doing. All this shit was planned. How they conducted that trial was planned out. It was strategic. No cameras in the courtroom. Come on. Because you didn't want us to hear and see what was actually going on in that courtroom. All you had was people going in there, listening to the same shit, and you had people coming out here interpreting it and putting it out here many different ways. So it was confusion throughout the whole entire thing because you had this person saying this. Now, they all were saying and hearing the same thing, but you had all these different opinions on what was being said. Okay? And that's the chaos you cause when you don't allow cameras in the courtroom. That guy knew exactly what he was doing.
there is a sense of a mistrust of the system. And I knew this would happen. It always happens. In a case like this, if you don't allow the public to see it, the public to hear it, one side or the other is going to lose the case, and then they're going to question the results of the case.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to have all these people talking about what the evidence actually was and what it does show. It's all secondhand, third hand. And just like in a courtroom, it's hearsay. That's why hearsay is inadmissible in a trial, because it's not reliable. Yet this court, this judge, this jurisdiction set it up so like the public was debating this all based upon second and third hand hearsay.
Yep.
Not the way to do it, not to instill trust in the system. Well, finally, we're at a point where at least the evidence, the unsealed evidence has been released. And this is a big moment. So we're getting to see and hear some of the videos. We're getting to see some of the exhibits. And that's what we're going to do right here, right now. But I'm not going to do it by myself because I want you to have a much better context for what you're seeing and hearing. So I'm going to bring in Court TV anchor Cody Thomas, who was inside the courtroom for all of this, was in Texas. Cody, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And I think it's important as we.
How the fuck is Cody working? See, Cody is that token black. How the fuck is Tony over at Law and Trial? I mean, Law and I'm finna say Law and Order, cause it done fuck me up that I gotta look at Toby again. I'm tired of Toby. Now Toby was over there at Law and Crime. Now he over there at Court TV. I'm sick of Toby. Hey, now, yeah, the token black. There's no way. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Why is Toby at Law and Crime and at Court TV? All right, Toby, come on. He everywhere, right? It's sickening. I'm sick of Toby. I'm sick of.
We go through this evidence that you're here so you can help give us the context of all of this. I want to start here. There's some video here. This is Austin Metcalf entering the stadium with other students. So what can you tell us about this day, this track meet, them entering? Was there any sort of history between this team and Carmelo Anthony's team?
No history between these two teams. Where these boys were coming from, I guess the middle school that they went to is kind of adjacent to the high school that they were at. And the understanding, as it was explained in the courtroom, is that, this is early in the morning. This was, 10 o'clock in the morning when this all went down. They got word that some of their old coaches, the old football coaches, were at this middle school, talking to the younger kids, and they wanted to go see their old coaches and, reminisce on good times and hang out for a little bit. So that's where they were prior to coming to the tent, and that's where they're coming from here. This specific video here was shown, of course, during the forensic video analyst testimony, the very first witness called in the whole trial, pretty much for the analyst to talk about how we identify who is in, the later video when the moment happens. So this is one of those earlier videos like, hey, this is what he has on, black top, black shorts, these shoes, they zoomed in on the shoes. I think they were New Balance, distinguishable colored shoes. But that is the context of what that specific clip was for them coming to the gate. Kind of just an identifier type of deal.
A scene setter, and because it'll make it easier to understand the rest of the videos. All right, let's take a look now at Carmelo Anthony entering the stadium and this video, which is a much wider shot. What's significant here?
So you're going to see him, of course, it's a wider shot. It's very pixelated because the camera's from across the football field. But this is significant, showing him coming with the backpack, lighter colored hoodie, also an identifier type of clip here, scene setter, just to let you know what he has on compared to what Austin has on. So when we get to later in the video, you'll know who we're looking at. So they spot shouted him there. They spot shouted Austin just so you know who's who.
Now, we're going to show in just a second the actual video of the of what happened here, the stabbing, the murder, right? The jury has spoken. They said it's a murder. So we call it a murder. This is about 36 seconds worth of video of this moment. As we take a look at it, there have been a lot of people who had very specific interpretations of this. I listened to your interpretation the first time I watched it. This is not going to be the first time I've seen it. And when I watched it, I was like, oh, okay, now I understand what Cody was describing. Just tell us, how is this shown to the jury? Is this shown to the jury on a big screen? Do they have little monitors in front of them? What was the setup in the courtroom for this jury?
So it was a decently sized screen. It looked like what, maybe a big screen television. So that's what the jury was looking at. And then, of course, us in the gallery, there were two kind of normal sized flat screens on either side of the gallery for us to see it. So it was still, and I was at the back of the courtroom. So I could see what was going on, but I didn't have my glasses in the courtroom. So I still was squinting really hard. But the jury had a big screen TV that was kind of directly adjacent to the jury box. So they got a decent view at this video, which again, as I was describing, weeks ago, that it's not the best quality, but it sets the scene as to what is going on.
And how much did the jury see of this video? Did they see it zoomed in? Did they see it slowed down? Did they see it frame by frame? How was it presented to the jury as we get ready to show it to the viewers here?
All of those things. So the forensic video analyst at the scene, like, hey, this is where we are. This is the full context of the video. You see where it looks better quality because it's what it's supposed to be and the resolution that it's supposed to be. Then we saw those clips that we just showed, the identifiers from the other angles of different cameras around the stadium. So again, scene setters, individual A, individual B, Austin, Carmelo. And then you saw all the zoom in. Here's the tent. Here's what's going on. The video we just showed, Carmelo coming out of the underside of that side of the bleachers. This is him. So you saw all of that before we got to the zoomed in tent. And so, of course, we're about to watch the video, so we can watch it and then talk about it there. But you saw it in all those zoomed in contexts. You saw the shove, or what's presumed to be the shove, and everything following. But wide angle, frame by frame, slowed down. Here's Carmelo. Here's Austin, zoomed in, all of the things, because this was the first, arguably, probably one of the most important witnesses during the whole trial, because this is the only video we had.
Okay, so we're going to show you this wide video in real time, not slowed down. It's about 36 seconds, which takes us to the moment of the stabbing, and then when Carmelo leaves. The tent is where you want to focus your attention, folks, on the tent on the left side of the screen and towards the top of the tent. So the top of the tent is there. Look just below that. That's where the action takes place. That's where the murder takes place, and then you'll see Carmelo leave towards the top. Let's take a look at that in real time right now. And everything, I mean, this is a super wide angle.
Yeah.
You can tell there's people. And right here, a little bit of action back and forth. And then off the top, now being shadowed, that's Carmelo, right? And this is what the prosecutors put together for the jury.
You see him running away. You'll see him run for a little bit. Then you'll see him slow down and walk here in a second, because the prosecution is really harping on he's trying to like blend in, get away from what was going on. But the thing about it, Benny, you saw in real time how quickly that happened. If you blinked, you might have missed it. You know what I mean? And that's to the point of some of the witnesses who were on the stand testifying. Those student witnesses were saying, this happened. We didn't even realize it happened. We knew they were up there yapping, going back and forth with each other. We kind of saw a shove. We saw some of them saw the shove, some of them didn't. Some of them were on their phones. But even the ones who saw the shove and the scuffle didn't even realize the stabbing had happened until Austin pulled his shirt up and there was a big gaping hole in his chest and they saw a whole bunch of blood. But in the moment, they really didn't see any of that. The gruesomeness of it go down, the actual crime itself, because it was so fast.
Okay, so here, let's do this. What we're going to do is, because it's important, obviously, what happens in the moment. But I want to take a look at the minutes leading up to that. And we are going to zoom in on the tent. So everything obviously is going to get much more blurry because of the quality of the video. So we're going to zoom in on the tent, and then you're going to see a countdown clock on the video. The clock is going backwards. And when it hits 0, that's right around the time when all of this happens and Carmelo then leaves the tented area. But in the build-up to all this, to me, this is significant, right? If you're alleging self-defense, which is what he alleged, something had to happen before the moment of the knife coming out and what the scene was like. So let's put that video up now and together take a look at it. So you can see once you zoom in, everything gets a little more blurry, to say the least. So what is the testimony about what's happening in the minutes leading up to this? Is everyone there? How long is Carmelo there? How long is Austin there?
So what we heard in court, because we watched it from the context, when Carmelo came out of that tunnel and when Austin was walking back from the middle school, the testimony, even the
Let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask us a question. With all this technology today that we have in 2026, I mean, at this point, when you go on social media and you see photos, you see videos, you see people, you see all this stuff that you don't know if it's real or fake, right? Because technology in 2026 is off the chain. Hold on. Give me a second, y'all. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. Yeah, Tanya, so they have a full video. It doesn't do I agree, Miss B. I say they got videos of the actual up under the tent, but we ain't gonna go there. We gonna let that go. But yeah, so with the technology here to in 2026 of all the things that could be done as far as 4K images and things of that sort, how many of y'all feel like this video could have been maybe not not edited or whatever, but made to be more clearer? If that makes sense. How many of y'all feel that way? Like they put this video out the way they put it out, or showed it the way they showed it on purpose, because it doesn't show, or we can't hear or really see what actually went on. Truth that I sent you, Nikki at night video. Hers ain't no clearer than the ones I done showed. I'll look at it again. Melissa. But yeah, they could have cleaned it up. Yeah. I do believe that this video, now maybe not audio wise, You know what I'm saying? But as far as visual wise, I feel like it could have been better. But you know, like I said, everything these people did when it came to this trial, it was very strategic. Okay, it was very strategic. Y'all notice the trolls are gone. See, they come over for a time and then they leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, y'all block them all. But I've been noticing patterns in my chat since I've been covering this of how the trolls, when I first come on, they all be in, you know, full force, full throttle, and then slowly but surely they move on because they're not being entertained. See, a lot of content creators entertain these trolls and the shitty shit they have to say. That's why I say don't pay them attention. Don't go back and forth with them. If they say something that any one of my mods, I don't give a fuck if a troll just come in and say, hey, if you look at them and you don't like their motherfucking picture, block them. If you want to block them, block them. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Now it's people in here that's actually got common sense and listening and watching this shit and not just trolls that's in here typing. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. Yeah, Natasha. But yeah, y'all, I do believe that this video could have made to be more clearer. I do. So he said I do, and I also believe that no phone videos were made available because you were here. Exactly what A was saying to Kay. Exactly, Sonia. Exactly. And I still stand on the notion that there is that those videos exist. They exist. I promise you. It was some kind of fuck up. I'm just saying, like, listen, we're going to stay tuned, y'all. Because this new team, I promise you, them people are going to make some shit happen. And the real story, the real deal is going to be put out here. For sure. A lot of people going to be exposed. We was up to 200 plus now, look. Exactly. But that's okay because they gave me my view for today, cute. So hooray to the trolls. But listen, a lot of people gonna be exposed, y'all. A lot of shit gonna be exposed. Yes, they probably in here in the beginning, but they ass get zapped because they girl, ain't nobody got time. Shit.
Prosecutors were saying Carmelo was under this tent 2 minutes before Austin Metcalf and those boys got to the tent. About like minute 58, you know, somewhere around the 2 minute mark. Once Austin gets there.
The truth of the matter is now is out here that Carmelo was already in the tent. See, I think that Carmelo being up under that tent, when they approached him because he was up under that tent. The 4 people that came up walking up to him, somebody said, hey, he up under the tent. But see, this is the thing. At the beginning, remember before this shit came out, they were saying that Austin was already up under the tent and Carmelo came in there fucking with them. Y'all remember? Who else remember that narrative that Austin and his peeps was up under that tent and Carmelo came in pretty much starting shit? That's what they was saying. They were saying that Carmelo, instead of being truthful and saying Carmelo was already up under there because his homeboy told him, come. And that's the reason why he was up under there. They painted the narrative, fuck a narrative. They lied and said that Austin and his crew was already up under there and Carmelo came in fucking with them. As the motherfucking lies turn. And then when the evidence come out, it shows that Carmelo was already up under there. Now here they are saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't make this shit up. Exactly. What's your name? Octavia Robinson. Shout out to you. Welcome to the chat. That was the first narrative until the video came out. Thank you. See, that's what I'm saying. If the truth is the truth, and the truth is that this young man did something wrong or he did something, stick with the truth. Quit lying. Quit presenting lies. Quit hiding shit. It's ridiculous. Let's go.
How long is Austin there?
So what we heard in court, because we watched it from the context, when Carmelo came out of that tunnel and when Austin was walking back from the middle school, the testimony, even the prosecutors were saying Carmelo was under this tent 2 minutes before Austin Metcalf and those boys got to the tent. About like minute 58, somewhere around the 2 minute mark. Once Austin gets there, both parties are under this tent for around 4 minutes and some change. So again, a very quick.
So at this point, everyone would be under the tent, right? We're doing the last.
Yes.
We're about 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yes. So everybody would be under the tent.
Let's just freeze it for a moment there. We'll pause it for just a moment. Do we know exactly where everyone is, or do people move around?
People are obviously moving, but I'll tell you in that courtroom, Benny, there was no specific, because this is a big point of contention. Who was sitting, who was standing, who was, over whoever arguing or whatever. Nothing was specified as far as under this tent. Of course, when you see the push and all the shove, that's, obviously rightfully assumed to be them. But as far as right here, where you just see these humanoid blobs, nothing was really, this is this person. This person's obviously sitting. I mean, you can't really see anything, right? And the defense's narrative is that, you've heard a bunch of chatter online from Carmelo's parents, is that he was getting jumped, or, 3 to 4 different people, right? But here, of course, you see a lot of people, but you can't.
That's why Toby has rehearsed this, because he keeps saying that Carmelo's parents said that he was jumped. If anybody can tell me that they heard in any interview that those parents did that Carmelo was jumped by several people, please point me to it, because I've listened to more shit involving this case that I wish that some of it I wish I could unhear. And I've never heard those parents say that Carmelo was jumped. Am I missing it, y'all? See, it's a reason why Toby is on both of them channels. Toby has read and rehearsed what the fuck he was going to say since the day he walked into that motherfucking courtroom. I stand on it. He keep telling lies, and he keep telling the same lies. And the reason why he keeps telling the same lies is because he was told to tell those lies. He was told to say this and to say this and to say this. I'm going to tell you something. I've been watching Court TV, Law and Crime, hell, even CNN and all these other, mainstream media outlets, and I've never seen them share one of their people. Meaning, I've never seen an anchor that was over here be over there too. I've never seen it. Toby doing his job, and Toby is getting paid well to do his job. He keep repeating that same lie, and them people never came out here and said, not the parents. Now, it's other people that's out here saying he was jumped, but the parents have never said that. He's lying. But this supposed to be mainstream media, you know what I'm saying, who we rely on for the news. Get the fuck out of here. That's why we need the cameras in that fucking courtroom, because people lie.
Take out who's standing around who's what, doing what, whatever under the tent. So nothing specified as far as like this.
And none of the witnesses didn't get up on the witness stand and say, "Oh yeah, that's me.
No,
that's Carmelo. That's Austin."
No, because I remember one witness sitting there saying, the defense was trying to point out, or no, the prosecution was trying to point out. So this is you right here. One of the defense's witnesses, one of those students, and that witness said, "I don't even remember who in that image right here, or this piece of video. I don't even remember if that was me." And of course, the prosecutor was like, "Well, that was you. Blah blah blah, based on whatever." But even this witness didn't remember who he was in the context of the video.
All right, let's keep it rolling. Again, we're counting down to the moment that all this happens. But as I'm watching here, it doesn't seem like there's nothing physical happening. Nothing necessarily
it's
out of
something
the
to take
ordinary,
away.
but there could be some chatter.
It's something to take away. You saw those kids, walking by. Obviously, it wasn't something as concerning enough for people to stop, because teenagers are going to be, even adults. If something's really going down, you stop. Hey, what's happening?
You're going to stop. You're going to look.
You see it on the road all the time. People rubbernecking when wrecks happen. You know what I mean? So I mean, if something was really happening, like this kid's just casually walking away, you see them towards the bottom of the screen. You don't see much movement going on under the tent. Here's somebody coming up in a yellow jacket. They're just kind of there. Looks like a poncho or something. But
let me ask you this: is it raining at this moment?
There's a lot of talk about the rain. It was raining hard earlier. At this point in time, it's a kind of mist thing. Like some people have umbrellas, some people don't. Because Texas weather, it could pour for a little bit, and it could dry up and get real humid. It could just kind of sprinkle, and you don't really care, because we saw Austin and his boys walking back with no umbrellas. So it could have been just wet and yucky, but not to say it was completely storming. That was the whole thing about it in the trial, because it was Carmelo under the tent to get out of the rain. But you see these people just casually walking up, not running out of the rain.
Right. Yeah. Casual walking. We see it again. Someone walking in front there.
Mm-hmm.
As I look in that front row again, there's not a ton of movement.
Nothing going on.
There's a little bit. Now there's a little bit more. A minute beforehand, a little more activity.
But the thing, you see how still it is, given the multiple dichotomous narratives that we've heard. Of course, there are kids moving around. These kids are walking around, but it doesn't look like there's a fight ensuing. Of course, there's a verbal altercation. We're 45 seconds removed from the situation. Maybe this is when the hand in the bag to touch me and see what happens is going on right here. And
nobody never said, Toby, that don't fight. It wasn't no time for no fight. He approached dude. They said what they said, and then he stabbed them. We know this. Ain't nobody said nothing about no big brawl, Toby. It's people out here saying that he was jumped. I don't believe he was jumped. And the reason why I don't believe he was jumped is because it wasn't time enough for him to be jumped. Was he going to be jumped had he not done what he did? Do I think so? Yes. Will we ever know? No. But what brawl are you talking about? It wasn't no damn brawl. They approached him. Him and Austin had words. He did what he did. He ran. My God, today, stop it.
Austin Metcalf saying there are multiple dichotomous narratives that we've heard. Of course, there are kids moving around. These kids are walking around, but it doesn't look like there's a fight ensuing. Of course, there's a verbal altercation. We're 45 seconds removed from the situation. Maybe this is when the hand in the bag to touch me and see what happens is going on right here. And Austin Metcalf saying, according to the testimony, I'm not going to fight you at a track meet. I'm not going to fight you. Just get out. I'm sure all of that's getting said right here as we are 30 seconds from the moment that happens. But it's not like this altercation that I can see from this blurry video of 4 to 5 different people on somebody.
No, there doesn't seem to be like a group of people moving and surrounding. There's a little bit of movement there on the top left. We see some arm. It looks like some arms, perhaps.
Yeah, like an arm that's maybe extended there or something.
Yep.
And then here we are.
Go. Shove, stab,
quick,
and he leaves.
away.
That is so fast.
Just like that.
And
Just
now
like
everyone,
that.
you see the rest of everyone else leave, and now you see him running off. But the physicality of what happened. Shove, and then like everyone's moving in one direction, then they come right back in the other direction. And that's my guess is that.
Saying it, but you know what? Telling the way this shit works, and the reason why I don't entertain a whole lot that's being said, or I don't entertain certain content creators, I don't react to them or play them or whatever, because all it takes. You good? Okay. Did you make your what's called? Did you make your waffle? Why not? You don't want it? Come here, hold on, y'all. How many you want? Go ahead. Yeah, Tanya, I've seen that. I mean, I ain't gonna say I've seen it because I don't, but I've heard it. I've heard that he had. I don't know how they would know that though, because even the people that was in the courtroom didn't come out and say that they proved that he had drugs in his system. I don't know how anyone would know that other than somebody just saying it and people running with it. You get what I'm saying? Oh, that ain't Dorito, Miss B. That's Keyshawn. Good afternoon, everyone. I look like someone. It looked like someone threw it in that guy. But see, that's what people are saying too, as far as the whole garbage can and all that. Then people are saying that Austin had drugs. I listen. I just don't run with narratives that I don't hear from the courtroom, y'all. That's why I like to watch trials. My people will tell you in an autopsy they can do. They can do toxicology. See, that's why I like to watch trials. Where there's actual evidence and you hear what evidence is presented, and you don't have to go by hearsay and what people are saying. Because see, as far as the whole drug in the system thing and the whole garbage can thing with the knife, I haven't seen that for myself. So even though I may hear it and listen to other content creators, I don't repeat it. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I choose to do. Because I just love it when we can watch a trial. When we can watch a trial and actually go by the evidence that's presented in that trial. See, them not having cameras in the courtroom for this trial was a huge injustice. Huge. Okay? And I can guarantee you if and when it's a retrial, they're going to make sure it's cameras in that courtroom. I can guarantee you that. Let's listen.
the response. That's the stab.
Yeah,
the next
push,
thing we see, he's popping out.
Yeah, the push, the comeback, boom, he runs up in the stands, and now he's obviously running away. And you see these people running after him. You see the point, like that was him, that was him. And that's before he reaches the coach, and people are saying, hey, they're saying this kid stabbed somebody, stop him. And then he's walking around the track with his coach, and the coach is like, hey son, what have you done? Coach from different schools, they're all different kinds of coaches, and the coach is like, and he testified, what are they saying you've done? What have you done? He put his hands on me, I told him not to. And the coach is like, well, if that kid dies, your life changes right here. And he's like, oh, he's not gonna die. Which, did he think he killed somebody? Obviously we stabbed him, but maybe he didn't think he killed anybody. And the coach is like, well, that may be true, but if he does die. And then that's when he said Carmelo starts to cry and everything else ensues.
The realization of what happened in just a split second. So let's do this. Let's again take a look at that video. This time we're going to slow it down. We're going to slow down. It's going to be those final moments. So see if we can understand a little bit better the movement inside that tent as Austin Metcalf is murdered by Carmelo Anthony. We'll take a look and see if it sheds any more light on what's happening. So again, this is slowed down. This is in slow motion, folks. This is not real time. So again, I see a little.
When you can see towards the top of there, it looks like someone's arm is out.
Yes.
Whether that hand is on Carmelo, whether it's just pointing out or whatever.
Just someone gets up. You could see someone get up. It seemed like that's Austin is seated and then kind of gets up halfway. And as he's getting up, I see a push.
Wait a minute. You said Austin was seated. Damn lies. Did you mean Carmelo? Austin was not seated. And then you see a push. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me. Hold on.
If it sheds any more light on what's happening. So again, this is slowed down. This is in slow motion, folks. This is not real time. So again, I see a little.
When you can see towards the top of there, it looks like someone's arm is out.
Yes.
Whether that hand is on Carmelo, whether it's just pointing out or whatever. Just
someone gets up. You could see someone get up. It seemed like that's Austin is seated.
Austin was not seated, sir. I don't know what the hell this conehead motherfucker looking at. They really be some people. Let me tell y'all something. A lot of times, you think people be. I'm gonna just say this. A lot of times, people say things to cause confusion. And they be doing it on purpose. This man know damn well Austin was not seated. Carmelo was seated. Austin was not seated. This is funny.
And then kind of
This is why I play different. Listen, let me tell y'all something. If y'all notice, this is why I play. Oh, I think the family had a video too. The family. Hold on. Let me look at my playlist because I wanted to get his perspective. But listen, where is my video from the family? Is this it? I gotta find it because the family did one too. But listen, this is why I play different videos from different sides of the wood. Like I play Law and Crime, I play Court TV, I play Introvert Rockstar, I play The Family, I play Carlos, because I show how in the media you can take one scenario. Truth is the truth. The truth don't change, right? So you can get this different group, all these different groups of people to see something, and you have all these different narratives that are spun. This is why I play who I play and why I play them. It's a method to my madness. It's definitely a method to my madness. But let's listen.
It's up halfway, and as he's getting up, I see a push. That's what I saw. Was the testimony consistent that Austin was standing at that moment of the push?
Yeah, well, yes, at the moment of the push. But in the seconds leading up, that was another huge point of contention. Who was sitting? Who came from what bleachers? Was Austin down a couple of bleachers and came to him? Was Carmelo sitting down? Were they both standing? That was the whole thing, because it's like the defense was trying to make Austin and his brother out to be these two bullies, kind of towering over Carmelo, who's sitting down. But I mean, you can't really tell anything from what's going on in this video, who's sitting and who's where. But the push,
you can see that Carmelo was sitting down and Austin was standing up. You can't miss it. You lying ass choking black. I said what I said. Oh my God!
Itself was kind of universally understood that they were standing when this push happened.
Yeah, and I mean, my interpretation of the slow motion is it's either as he's getting up or as he's taking a step down. He seems to be crouched, and if one person is seated and one person is standing, to push him, you're going to have to go down a little bit. And that's what I saw. And folks, now you have seen it. So at a minimum, you get an idea of the context from Cody, and you get to see the evidence yourself. Another piece of evidence that we need to take a look at here is more video from that day, body camera video of one of the officers approaching Carmelo Anthony. And this is significant because you are hearing from the defendant in the moments after he has stabbed Austin Metcalf. So from my perspective, it's extremely significant. It's extremely important. It's not testimony a year later. It's not a carefully thought out statement. It's him in almost the heat of the moment of stabbing Austin Metcalf in the stands underneath that tent. And now we get to see and hear some of his reaction to this from this body cam video. Cody Thomas, Court TV anchor, still with us. Obviously, was in the courtroom for all of this. As we set this up, before we roll this video, was there an allegation that he tried to flee or no?
The way the prosecution phrased it, we saw him obviously run away in the video. And they were saying, phrasing that he knows what he's done. He's getting away from the situation. He's running, and then he stops trying to blend in with the crowd and this and that. But the defense's pushback, which I thought was, in correct context, was that he had all the opportunity to run away out into the parking lot and really run away. But he chose to stay on the track, kind of trying to paint his character out as, he's this like cold-blooded killer. Absolutely. So that was the back and forth there. But there was no clear this kid was going away. He was running away, trying to get on the bus or get in his car and leave. It was just the prosecutor saying he was fleeing the moment, and the defense saying, well, he fled the moment, but that's because he was scared. But he obviously stayed in the vicinity of what was going on.
All right, let's roll the body camera video now. So we take a look and a listen to Carmelo Anthony.
Hold on. If somebody's shooting the victim, the video over there. Don't reach for anything, all right, man? Stop right there for a minute. Dispatch 443. I got these plates. And they're currently treating the victim. Again, he's on the north end of the stadium. Sorry. Any questions on you like that? Good. Oh, look here.
Hold it right there for a moment.
I know I'm not.
Did you hear it? And I thought I heard kind of like sniffling, that sort of crying. Is this the moment you described before that he had broken down when with this other coach?
This is not the exact moment. That moment with the coach was not caught on camera. But
not caught on camera, but this would be the aftermath of that.
This would be the aftermath of that. So there's probably remnants of sniffling happening here.
Yeah, because I thought I heard that. And right now he's on the other side of the fence of the officer. Let's continue to watch.
Yeah, y'all back up a little bit. Come over here. Go here. I'm going to put your handcuffs for now, okay? Dispatch 440, you can slow down. I got the alleged suspect in handcuffs right now detained. You can open up the channel, and medics are clear to come in. Have them come to the northeast entrance. That's me gate that's wide open there, and then you come to the victim from there. It's the alleged suspect. Okay.
Let's hold it right there.
On your person at all.
What do you say right there, Cody?
So you didn't, in the courtroom, we're watching this body cam, right? There's another female officer off the camera, but right there next to them. Her camera picks up, Carmelo, you heard the guy say, I have the alleged suspect. Her camera picks up the audio clear where he says, I'm not alleged, I did it.
It's the alleged suspect.
I am. No, I'm not. I know how I go. I'm not alleged. Okay.
So we heard that in the courtroom. It's another angle of the body cam of the same moment here. She's just off the camera there. You can't see it on his body cam. That's what I was pointing at now as this was going on. You heard him say some mumbles there, but the radio's coming in with this officer. But I have the alleged suspect rating went, I'm not alleged, I did it, which was super damning, of course, because that's, all but an admission. Like I did, it's not a question of whether I did it. Now it's about the self-defense thing.
Right. Did prosecutors frame this moment as a confession?
Pretty much. Yes. That's how they harped on it, that he admitted to doing it. And then there's a later part in this video where they talked about, because the defense's narrative was that there was multiple kids surrounding him. But you hear him say, he put his hands on me. I told him not to, not they.
Okay, so Toby, with your big E, you know what? I'm going to leave it off his looks. So, Toby, if Carmelo admitted that he put his hands on me, why the fuck would his parents come out here and say he was jumped by multiple people? Why? If Carmelo clearly admitted that Austin is the one that put his hands on him, and I'm pretty sure he told that to his parents, why would his parents be out here saying he was jumped? Make it make sense. See, you people be trying to manipulate shit, and y'all be trying to switch shit up, and you're not as smart as you think you are. You're really not. You're really not.
Put their hands on me. So, that's coming up. I don't want to spoil it or anything, but that's...
No. It's good to have a heads up as to what to listen to and what the arguments were inside the courtroom. So let's continue to watch.
at all? Nothing. Mind if I reach in your pockets and stuff and all that? Stamina? Okay. A little personal there, okay? Just to make sure.
So he had gotten rid of the weapon.
Yeah, when he ran up in those bleachers, that's where the weapon was found. About those 3 or 4
Can't get rid of it. He dropped it, Conehead. He dropped it. He dropped it on the bleachers. He ain't get rid of it. It's right there for the cops to find it. Had he gotten rid of it, they wouldn't have been able to find it. Conehead.
There's a female officer, by the way. But those 3 or 4 bleachers that he ran up before he eventually ran.
Wordplay for me. You know what I'm saying? It'd be that for me.
Away, the knife was found up there because the student saw and heard the knife through it. And the student came back to the officers and told them without them for one day. The emotion that you heard.
North end, they got staff standing to him right now. This is the latest suspect. Already, no. Research them. I don't know what happened.
Sorry, you can hold there for just a second. I just want to give everyone at home a perspective of this. They haven't read him his rights, by the way. They haven't read him his rights, but they're not asking him questions. So the fact that he is saying things, even though he hasn't been Mirandized, as long as it's not in response to a question or an interrogation, it's just something he's saying, it's still admissible and can be used against you.
I know,
there might be folks who were saying, well, I didn't hear Miranda. Yeah, he wasn't Mirandized yet, but they haven't questioned him yet. He's volunteering all this information.
And that's what's happening. And, that was, some of the chatter we've seen. Why was he speaking? But of course, you have a 17-year-old kid who just stabbed somebody. He's not thinking lawfully of where my Miranda rights and all that and find me a lawyer. He's a 17-year-old kid that just did something.
But he's not a hardened criminal. He didn't even think he had harmed the boy enough to kill him. You idiots.
Crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's you got to put that into perspective here as to the circumstances at hand.
And again, that was the moment, and we heard it again. The other microphone may have picked it up a little clear, where we hear it's sort of a whimpering voice of his own. I told him not to put his hands on me. Him in the singular, Austin Metcalf, not a group of individuals who were threatening him.
Yeah, that was something that the prosecution, I believe it was closing arguments somewhere towards the end of the trial when they brought that up, and they really doubled down on that. Which as I'm watching the video,
what he said does not listen. What Carmelo said in that moment does not mean he didn't feel threatened by a group of kids. Let's be clear. You people get on my fucking nerves. What he said in the moment when he said he put his hands on me does not indicate that he wasn't intimidated by a group of kids. It only meant that only one of those kids put their hands on him. You idiots. Sitting up here trying to spin a narrative. He said, and you know what's not going to be said about this body cam footage, y'all. You know what's not going to be talked about in this body cam footage is the fact that Carmelo was 100% honest about everything he said. He didn't try to hide anything. They tried to make it seem like he tried to run away. And he didn't. They tried to make it seem like he ditched the knife. How the fuck you ditch a knife right there where it can be found? Make that make sense. You feel me? Like, they try to act like he tried to run away. Not. They try to act like he ditched the knife. Not. Carmelo is the only one that in this entire scenario is being completely honest in the moment when it happened, but they're not going to point that out. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to point that out. It's just sick, man. It's sick and it's sad. And it's sick and it's sad. Fuck race. Fuck these token blacks that's out here running with these narratives. It's people, period. It's people, period, that can't look at this situation and call it for what it is. Whether you black, white, brown, yellow, or gold, it don't matter. It is sickening. This child did not receive a fair trial because people lied. They lied. They misrepresented, they manipulated, and they excluded. Period. Whether it's about race or whatever, I don't give a fuck at this point whether it was about race or not. It's the fact that it was done. For whatever reason it was done. This child did not receive a fair trial, period. And everybody that knows what they know knows that. Period. If it's a flat out case of murder, you shouldn't have to lie. You shouldn't have to manipulate. You shouldn't have to spin narratives. You shouldn't have to exclude the actual murder weapon that you all did not even bring into that courtroom. How the fuck was he convicted behind a replica of a knife? No, where's the knife? Just like I said, hashtag where's the knife when it comes to Carmelo, and hashtag where's the fucking gun when it comes to Cyrus Carmack. Period.
Even, I'm listening and taking everything in. I didn't even pick up on it. I was like, oh, that's huge. That's a big point. That's a huge point.
Yeah, and if you do it in the closing arguments and you're the prosecutor, you can do it at a time when they can't respond to it. Like keep a little something in your back pocket for that closing argument. I'm going to make an argument that maybe no one else has made during the course of this case, and they won't be able to respond because they had their chance already. All right, let's watch the end of the video.
Let me do one more little check of you, okay? You don't mind for reaching your pocket, anything like that? You good?
I'm wearing some little underwear. No, ma'am, I don't think so.
What's your name, man?
Carmelo Anthony, K-A-R-M-E-L-O.
Moving in the left is very calm and compliant.
Have a seat here real quick, man.
Very calm and compliant.
Very calm and compliant because he ain't the monster y'all paying him out to be. That's why he calm and compliant. The fuck?
Let me check your hood here, buddy, okay? Well, I'll tell you what, lean this way so you're not resting on your hands, okay? All right, see a little bit of blood on your hands there, okay? All right. So your first name is Carmelo?
K-A-R-M-E-L-O.
Let's see, hold on a second. I don't know yet, man. Carmelo, C-A-R-A. K-A-R. M-E-L-O. Carmelo, what's your last name? A-N-D-H. Oh, and where are you going?
I'm 12th grade.
10th grade? You go to Emerson? Where do you go? Centennial, okay.
I'm in 12th grade.
12th grade? Okay, let's finish. All right, sit back real quick, buddy, all right? All right, let me run this guy real quick. I haven't talked to him at all.
One final question just on this section. You mentioned the demeanor. This is after a very violent, it was quick, but very violent act, and there seems to be a level of calm.
He sure did.
Did prosecutors comment on that at all?
They did, because as I was talking earlier, but the whimper that we heard, he was a little calm during the arrest. The initial arrest when he was on the other side of that fence. Compliant, he wasn't trying to run away. Then you heard he put his hands on me in his obviously emotional voice, and then we're back to calm again. So there was that, dichotomous contrast there, and prosecutors were like, well, was that voice performative? And then you see that he's sitting here calm and collected, despite, again, a 17-year-old stabbing someone. Unbeknownst to him at the time, it was to death, but you still stabbed someone. So they definitely mentioned it. It wasn't a big point they were trying to make, but it was something that they brought to people's attention, especially given you went from 15 seconds of high emotion to, oh yeah, my name's Carmelo Anthony. Here's how it's spelled. I go to Centennial High School. I'm a 12th grader. Just a very calm demeanor just seconds after this has happened.
Most cases and investigations begin usually with a call to 911. And in this case, it's no different. Obviously, there's a lot of people at the stadium that day. It's a track meet. You've got a mixture, and you've got more than one 911 call. But I wanted to focus on one from a student. And Cody Thomas, still with us, Court TV anchor, who's inside the courtroom for all of this. As we get ready to listen to this, what's your take on the impact all of this had on the students and their testimony and them reliving this horrific day? Because there's a human's eye to this story. That none of these students are going to be the same. Like, they had to experience something that you don't want to experience. You don't want your kids to experience in high school.
I mean, the emotional impact is insurmountable, right? I mean, they were multiple. All of them are pretty much boys, except for one girl who went to a different school who was just in the vicinity. She went to Liberty High School. The majority of them cried. The majority of them, whether they boohoo cried, whether they just kind of teared up and had some Kleenex, majority of them, whether they boohoo cried, whether they just kind of teared up and had some Kleenex. One girl had to take a moment. Hers was pretty impactful because it was like she didn't have any skin in the game, right? She was from a different school their tent happened to be a few feet away. And then you look over and see somebody get stabbed to death. She didn't know these people at all. These aren't her teammates. She just sees somebody get stabbed. And part of her testimony was that she saw this happen. Of course, she's up there crying. They had to stop it for maybe 2 minutes. Not like stop the proceedings, but take a pause, right? And she said her and her mom, she went over and talked about it for a few days. And they actually went back down to the police station after this happened to tell what they know, because they felt like that was the right thing to do. I mean, again, you had, these are boys that are going off. Some of them are going to college, play football, tough guys that are up there crying for their former teammate or just their classmate or just, just another human being getting killed that they saw. So the impact of it was, I mean, along with us in the gallery, it was huge.
You experience something like that firsthand, it's difficult. And that's the other part of this story we don't want to forget. And I think this sort of brings it to light. This is a 911 call from one of the students. Let's take a listen.
Touchdown 911, what is the location of the emergency?
Hi, we're at Taekwondo Stadium. My friend just got stabbed.
Okay, do you know who stabbed him?
We have no clue. He was sitting in our camp, but you need to send an ambulance right now.
They're on the way, okay? Give me a description of the person that stabbed him.
He was wearing a gray essentials hoodie. He was black. He's standing out on the side right now.
He's standing on the track?
Yes.
Okay.
He has blue sweatpants on and down.
Okay, what did he stab your friend with?
I don't know. My friend's bleeding everywhere.
Okay. Where was he stabbed at? On the chest. Okay. And do you still see the person that stabbed him, or did he leave?
It was Austin. Austin stabbed him in the chest. I'm sorry, what did you say?
The person that stabbed him, is he still there? Do you still see him?
There's adults on him, I think. Yeah.
There's adults that are trying to keep him there?
Sorry, what?
The person that stabbed your friend, is he still there?
Yeah, he's still here.
Okay, and there's a coach with him?
Yes, he's with him.
Okay. Do you know if he still has a weapon on him?
No clue, but he's like he can't do nothing. He's done.
What do
Hold on, y'all. I don't know if y'all can hear me because my stuff is doing something crazy. Hold on a minute, y'all.
No clue, but he's like he can't do nothing. He's done.
What do you mean?
He's got Austin like that. What?
What do you mean he can't do anything? What's going on with him?
Like, I mean, like, coaches have him, he can't hurt anyone.
Okay, when you say they have him, are they physically holding him down?
No, like, they're just holding him walking around.
All right, Daniel. Thank you, boo.
Okay.
Okay. What's your name?
Hold it for 1 second there. As I listen to him in this panicked state, the contrast with Carmelo Anthony in certain moments that we captured of him in the body camera, like, to me, there's a contrast here, and it could be personality, but like, wow.
You hear this,
sticks out.
You hear this kid yelling, and my friend's been stabbed, and you can hear him clearly talking to students off camera. It was Austin Metcalf. He's been stabbed, and you hear, rustlings of the commotion in the background and everything. It's probably like the world is ending for these kids. And then you see the body cam, and it's this calm thing from Carmelo's side. So yeah, I echo the same sentiment with you there.
Yeah, let's continue to listen.
What's your last name? What's your last name? Okay. And do you see any of the responders there yet?
We hear the sirens, but
just
sent us out. We're all walking to our buses.
Okay, so you're going to get on a bus right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the rest of the students are walking towards the buses?
Yeah, everyone's being evacuated out the stadium.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being quick.
Okay. Just follow whatever directions you're being provided by either the officers or by your coaches, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect if you need to, but we can all hands out headed that way.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So the other part of this, Cody, we cover cases all the time. You've got a whole series of witnesses that are being shuttled into buses before police even get there. Which, did that come up at all? Was there any allegation by the defense that somehow prosecution witnesses or the students or Austin's friends sort of colluded and coordinated their testimony?
Not as blatant and direct as that. It came up during the closing argument. I believe the closing before the sentencing, not the closing before the guilt phase, where it was just kind of loosely mentioned that, remember, these are our, Austin Metcalf's friends. These are his teammates. Not necessarily saying, hey, they're colluding directly like that, but kind of like an implication.
That's another thing you have to wonder. Like, these are witnesses. Like, those kids up under that tent, I know they was distraught, and things of that sort, and I know they wanted to protect them, but the fact of the matter is they were witnesses, and they needed to be there to talk to the cops. And the fact that they got all these kids, that's why I say Trey think I'm crazy for thinking that those kids' phones were confiscated. He think I'm crazy about thinking that the kids' phones were confiscated and there's footage on these phones and this and the third. But the fact of the matter is the kids that were up under that tent were witnesses, right? Same witnesses that testified, right? So you done gather these kids up and put them on the bus and taking them away. Hell, they said the young lady that testified, she was gone from the scene and they went back later. Sorry, y'all. It dropped. It's starting to echo, but that's okay because we're finna be off in a minute. But I'm gonna bring it back up so we can finish listening to this. I'm back, y'all. I am back. Thank y'all for waiting. Let me bring up the because we almost done. We're almost done. I appreciate y'all waiting. Yes, 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 yes. Mm, where's my playlist? There it is. Thank y'all so much. Mods, again, shout out to my moderators. I appreciate y'all so much for holding it down. Oh, thank you. What's that, Lil Mama? Thank you, Lil Mama. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Closing before the
Welcome
sentencing,
to
not the
the
closing
field.
before the guilt phase, where it was just kind of loosely mentioned that, remember, these are our, Austin Metcalf's friends. These are his teammates. Not necessarily saying, hey, they're colluding directly like that, but kind of like an implication. There might be some bias as far as, again, a human element. Like, you're gonna feel worse about somebody that that has died versus somebody else that has died. It's just like the natural progression of things. So that's kind of where they were getting at there, but nothing, suggesting any like conspiracy happening here to kind of, sway somebody one way or the other.
Yeah, because I mean, that could have been a whole nother can of worms that could have been opened up if all the witnesses are together on the bus. They're talking about what just happened and they're kind of getting their story straight. If in fact this was a self-defense case, but it didn't seem like it came down to that in this case. So there are also some evidence photos that I want to take a look at, and we're going to begin by taking a look at the crime scene itself, the scene of the murder. The video was okay. It was good. It showed in real time what was happening, but I think these photos will give us a better idea.
All right, y'all. Just want a buffer. Y'all know how I get this time of day, but let's listen.
And we're going to begin by taking a look at the crime scene itself, the scene of the murder. The video was okay, was good. It showed in real time what was happening, but I think these photos will give us a better idea of exactly what it looked like underneath the tent in the aftermath. So it gives us even more context for the video itself. Cody Thomas, Court TV anchor, still with us. All right, Cody, let's start with the crime scenes. We take a look now at the tent in those bleachers. And as we take a look here, the one thing that strikes me is that the tent really isn't that large.
Right.
So you're only going to be covering a couple of rows of benches here.
Yeah, I mean, it's this tent for pretty much essentially an entire track team to be crowded under. During the rain, of course, the rain was a big point of contention in the trial because they were trying to say the defense was saying Carmelo was under this tent due to the rain. They mentioned that Carmelo and a couple other friends were in a dugout adjacent to the bleachers before a coach came and ran him out, and then comes back over here and then finds his way under this tent. But yeah, very small crime.
There for 1 second, because as I look at this photo, it gives us sort of a perspective here that there are other tents in the bleachers close by. But as you mentioned, there was really only one witness from these other tents? From
this Liberty. Yeah, she was from this Liberty tent here. And another coach also from this Liberty school testified about what he saw. He was only standing 20 feet away. He was standing in front of these Liberty tents, and then he turns around, and then this is going on. And he gets over there into, to his, unfortunate surprise, this had happened. He was expecting just a fight, boys being boys, but now there's a stabbing here and a kid ultimately dying on the scene. But again, one witness.
I'm sorry, y'all. It's acting up, but we're gonna push through because there's only like 5 minutes left.
Talking about what she saw, she said she heard the commotion going on, but she didn't think anything of it. She said she even turned back around and started looking at whatever event was going on, and then she heard something crazy again a few seconds later, and then Austin's falling back down the bleachers with a hole in his chest. So I mean, again, this tent very close by, and these students having to see something. Yeah.
Like if there was something like really brewing, it just seems that even if you believe that the people under the memorial tent are all friends of Austin, they're going to say one thing: this is an independent witness, no affiliation with anyone, doesn't know anyone, but it's close enough that if there was something happening, would see it. Let's continue to roll the video as we take a look here. And again, Carmelo's school, their tent hadn't arrived yet.
That was, at this point in time, they were the only school who did not have a tent. Now, Carmelo's coach was the first defense witness and was saying, I guess they were coming in 2 different busloads, and the tent was with the busload that hadn't gotten there yet. So there was supposed to be a tent. It wasn't that the school just didn't have a tent in general. Right. They just didn't have a tent at the moment.
Okay, there's one other moment of this video that I want to zoom in. Just let's hold it here for 1 second. Do we know if this is the exact location of the tent at the moment, or did things get moved around a little bit? Do we know?
You see how those book bags there, a collection of book bags, how there's some obviously outside the tent. The tent was more propped on the bleachers, but this is where everything went down right here. The tent wasn't moved, 50 yards away. So this is where it was. They didn't say why they brought the tent down that way. Maybe because the rain started and they wanted to keep, over the body, because Austin ended up falling from the bleachers down to, the front where the railing is. So that's where, all the CPR and things like that were going on. So maybe that they didn't address why the tent was moved and, catty corner down that way. But this is where that collection of book bags is. That's where everything went down.
And that's important because under this, there's not a lot of bleachers underneath it, not a lot of places for people to sit versus standing. Let's continue to roll the video because there's one other thing I want to take a look at with you. As we watch this video. Yeah, I can see the book bags where they are. So the tent is more on an angle. Right here, we could freeze this. You've got one of these evidence markers. Is that the knife? Do we believe that's the knife?
That's the knife. And in the in the video we saw of the incident, when we saw Carmelo run out from under the tent, when he runs up 3 to 4 bleachers, and we just saw in the previous image here on this rolling video where this tarp was laying, it was also a couple of bleachers up from where the book bags were. That's where the knife gets tossed out clearly right here. When we were in court, we saw the body cam of the officer who discovered the knife, who looked down and said, "Oh, here it is. There's still blood and bone matter on it." That's what he said on the body cam. We saw a couple of blood spots when they showed the evidence. We didn't see any bone matter, but again, it was raining that day. Could have got rinsed off, or as the chain of evidence went around, that stuff could have fallen off. But he said that on the body cam. And the way they found the knife was there was another student who also testified that ran up, and you heard him on audio on the body cam of this guy talking about the bone matter. He comes up, he's like, "I know where the knife is." His co-star brings him up. This kid knows, he saw what happened. "I know where the knife is. It's up there. I can take you and show you." And the officer's like, "All right, calm down. Like, let me know."
Oh, wow. How did the kid know what a knife was? Maybe he saw Carmelo toss it. I don't know. How did the kid know? So that was the kid that said, "I know what a knife is. I can show you. Did he see Carmelo put it there or drop it there? What's up with that?
Where it is. But anyway, that's the knife that was 3 to 4 bleachers up from where everything went down. We saw Carmelo run up those bleachers.
All right, let's take a look at the knife itself now.
Heavy duty looking knife.
This is the first thing that strikes me. The way it was described, 3.5 inches on pocket knife. I'm thinking of the little red Swiss Army knife, and that's not what this is.
No, this is definitely it's you cut something with that. It's sharp. And the way this
You cut something with any knife, I started to call that man something. It's a knife. Is a knife. Is a knife. A knife is used to cut. Any knife is gonna cut. Any knife is. Quit trying to make it seem like it's a damn machete. I'm so sick of this big ear bitch. I don't know what to do. If I watch another clip with Toby and I'm not watching it, I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck how relevant it may be. I'm not watching Toby no more. Toby look like he gets no pussy at all. He just makes me sick. I can't stand Toby.
Knife was brought up. Not this exact knife that you see the blood to the top left there. There's little red spots where the hinge is. That's the blood. But this knife was brought up with the testimony of an officer. Just talking about it and how quickly you can flip it out with one finger or one hand. But one of the things that was kind of loosely said, it wasn't something the prosecution really doubled down on, but as they were doing a demonstration of the knife and how it works, the officer was standing up in front of the jury box as well, and the prosecutor goes, "This is similar to the knife that you carry when you're on duty." And the officer's like, "Oh yeah, that's what we cut seat belts with, that's what we do all different sorts of things with," showing that this is not the Swiss Army knife Boy Scout knife that you and I used to when we were growing up.
Again,
I notice how he make the same statements and says the same trigger words or whatever in each interview. Like, honestly, this dude is a trained motherfucking. He's a trained motherfucking, token. He doing his job very well. It amazes me how you go from interview to interview. You saying the same. You making sure to stress the same exact things. You know what I'm saying, Natasha? It's weird. Because even though the truth don't change, you know what I'm saying? It's just that people don't always use the same exact phrases and words. You know what I'm saying? He looking like the Planters man. Y'all know the Planters peanuts? He look like the Planters peanut. Like, he makes me ill.
You actually see the evidence. Cody Thomas, thank you so much for all your help and all your great reporting. It's great to have the context when we see the evidence here when it was finally released. Thanks so much, Cody.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
All right, that's it for today, y'all. This has been a hell of a live, but I truly enjoyed it, okay? We'll be back tomorrow. He don't deviate from the script. Exactly. All right, shout out to all my new subscribers. I appreciate y'all. Welcome to the family. Shout out to my moderators. I love and appreciate y'all so much. Shout out to my subscribers, my family, my supporters. I appreciate y'all. We'll be back tomorrow to talk some more and entertain the trolls for about 2 hours and get into this some more. Thank you, Natasha. You tired me, B. I know that's right, girl. Shout out to my moderator. I love y'all. Thank you, Sonya. Until next time. Look, I see y'all later over there around yonder. Thank you, little mama. I appreciate it. Look, y'all have a blessed, beautiful rest of your day. Hashtag justice for Carmelo. I don't give a fuck. Justice for Carmelo. Thank you, Miss Carla. You know, the truth is the truth and it don't change. And it's the truth, is what convicted this young man of murder, then don't alter it. Don't manipulate it and don't spin narratives. With that being said, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a blessed, beautiful rest of your day. All right. Be safe, be blessed, and never stress. And until next time, truth seekers stand up and we out. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a blessed, beautiful rest of your day.